Sleepwellhorrors, our second live story reading. We're doing 8 stories today, actually. They're all, it's a grab bag day. We're gonna do, these are the 8 stories we're doing today. And while you guys are doing that, I gotta go and edit some stuff on YouTube. So chill out. But, yeah, we're doing 8 stories, we're doing a grab bag, and a lot of these stories are going to be famous creepypasta stories. So hope you guys enjoy. Viewer discretion advised. Some of these stories are pretty racy, gory, and have a lot of adult scenes in them. So be ready for that. If you are triggered by like assault, SA, or anything like that, some of the story I'll preface them before we get to it. I know for a fact one of them is but some of them are pretty gory, some of them are pretty graphic, so like just be advised. And I will repeat that same disclosure once it's more people. Gotta go back to here and put the title in. How's everyone's day been? Go ahead, tell me about your. So Andrea is just ghosting me for literally 7 days.
I was ghosting you? You're right, I haven't texted
reply at all.
I was reading them. That makes me feel better.
Does not make sense. What did I put for the? Oh, here it is. Title in here. What did you do for?
We went rafting. So that was fun. And then we went, like the whole weekend, we went rafting one day and then floating down the Boise River. That was really fun. What'd you do?
Shit.
Oh.
I just stayed home. I got back from Virginia, so I was just chilling.
Oh yeah, you did go on vacation.
I need you to carry up this conversation a little long because I am so focused on editing all this stuff. So I need you to kind of fill the gaps.
Well, all right. I read my first horror book,
What was
and
it?
it was I forgot what it's called. Wait, I sent you a picture. See, I wasn't ghosting you. I sent you a picture of my book, The Night Guest. It's an Icelandic story. It was translated. Obviously, I can't read that. But it was pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I have another one that I want to read, but it's like a really big book, and I think that one has some triggering things in it, and I may
Well,
not sleep if I read it.
Yeah, a lot of what's it called? A lot of horror stories are gonna be like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I like reading them. It's just short stories, you know? I don't know what to talk about.
Andrea is practicing on being live because she doesn't really do it.
I don't.
She doesn't, I forced her to go live because I'm sick of editing. I got sick of editing, is what happened. I got sick of editing the videos because I'm too busy.
But I like knowing that you're going to edit it in case I say something or mess up something, and now...
It's never going to happen now.
No.
I just gotta watch out. We gotta watch what you say.
Yeah.
Just get canceled.
What was that movie you texted me about that I never responded to you about?
Oh. What is it called? looks really good.
Shelby Oaks movie?
Oh yeah, you should look it up. It's like a found
Is
footage.
it
It's like a found footage movie.
so like a creepy horror movie?
Yeah, it looks really good. The only downside of us doing it on here is that I have to manually put in all the titles and all the links onto YouTube and Twitch for all the credit and everything.
You didn't have to do it last time?
No, because it's built into like OBS. I'm not using OBS, we're using this, so I have to do all this. Also, it's not bad because we gotta wait for everyone to come in anyways. We don't want to start the stories without people being here. Save. Bam. Done. I know that someone wanted me to tell them that I was going live, so let me do that too. Are you excited though? 8 stories. We've never read that many in one stream before.
Yeah, I like short stories. I like the grab bag stories.
But yes, sorry, now I'm back. I have full attention to you guys. So we're doing the expression list, the white with red, smiling man, the portraits, the strangers, the rake. I probably should change that. Actually, hold on. Since I forgot that YouTube has a problem with certain shit. Normal corn for normal people. That story is probably going to be a little bit of triggering one. That's the one I was talking about earlier. So if you don't want to listen to that one, when we get to it, just tune off for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, and then we'll be on to the next story because it's not very long. I've read this one before or listened to it before. It is, it's crazy. So
I've never heard any. I actually haven't read or heard any of the ones that we're going to read today.
Right, so she's going to be completely surprised. I don't think I've listened to any of them except the normal core. Everything else I've seen. Everything else it would be my first time.
You didn't preview them?
Oh no, this is going to be... And also, all of these stories are free game. I didn't need to contact the writer because they're all unknown authors, so perfectly worked out.
Cool.
All right, but one thing I do need to do is I need to pull up one more thing, and then we're ready to go. How about you, chat? Let me know. Are y'all ready for the stories? Going
yes.
Once, going twice. Quiet hug here, okay.
Wait, what happened to the prompts, your questions?
What questions?
Would you rather spend the night?
Oh yeah. Why did you remind me? I have a whole thing. I have a whole intro thing.
Sorry.
Start on that. You have that pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Do the first one. We're going to do something different on the start here. We're going to do a little bit of like a podcast-style questionnaire thing.
What's the creepiest local legend from your hometown? Wait, I want to hear yours. You're from Jersey.
I gotta think. New Jersey is there's a bunch, but there's like one like specific one.
There's a couple for mine, but the one that's coming to mind right now, so I grew up in Lexington, South Carolina. And there's this one place that's like out in the middle of nowhere, and there's like these railroad tracks. But anyways, we went one time because legend says when you're driving at night and you stop your car on the bridge, you have to put baby powder or like some kind of like white powder on like your trunk. And legend says whenever you stop your car on the bridge and you sit there for a little while, you get out and there's like little handprints on your truck.
Oh, you told me this one.
That's all I remember right
Didn't
now.
you do this one before?
Yeah, but we didn't have any handprints.
Wait. You might... I've heard that story before, but not from you.
Oh.
So,
it's just like a thing in my outside of Lexington.
Yeah, there's a streamer that I watch, and he said the same exact story on their podcast. And they tricked their friends. They tricked their friends once by doing it, like putting their hands on like the car. And for 5 years, they didn't tell them that it was them for like a while. It was actually hilarious.
You probably told everybody like, I had these ghost people.
Tarana? Oh my god, I'm butchering names. You have the chat pulled up?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Hi, T.
That's a good way of doing it. So there's the Jersey Devil, which is like the folklore of like New Jersey. It's kind of like, I feel like it's kind of like anticlimactic though, because like they kind of like, as everyone uses it for like mascots at school, when it's just like kind of like a kind of gimmicky.
That's a weird mascot to have for a school, but okay.
For Virginia, what do we have? I don't even remember.
Boise has haunted tunnels under the city. They're haunted? I didn't know they were haunted.
You're haunted? Yo. That's crazy. And you live there. That's wild.
I don't think you're allowed to go in there though, are you? I'm trying to read, I can't. Yeah, that's the only one I can think about. Well, like, okay. Growing up in South Carolina, there's a lot of, in Charleston, which is on the beach, a couple hours away, there's a lot of stories there about a lot of haunted places. I went there and I think I've done like maybe 5 or 6 ghost tours.
The Midwest is just, the West and the Midwest is just haunted. I don't know what it is about it, but like, as soon as Manifest Destiny happened, it's like, okay, a lot of people died on the road, so people are like bitter they didn't make it there.
I mean, if I died in the Midwest, I'd probably haunt some people too.
Did you see the thumbnail?
No.
Do you want to look at it?
Yeah, where do I look at it though?
Go on YouTube.
I am on YouTube.
No, but like, look at before you click on the video.
Oh, yeah, I do see it. But that's not me though.
Oh, the audio is perfect. It is you, but the face swap didn't really work as well as I wanted it to. Okay. What else do I have here for the questions? Would you rather, chat? Would you rather spend a YouTube press? I mean, Andrea, sorry. Just doxed you. Would you rather spend the night in an abandoned hospital or deep in the woods with no phone?
Abandoned hospital. With a phone.
Okay, so would you rather be in an abandoned hospital?
Yeah, with the phone. I want to take pictures and videos of all the creepy ghosts.
For me, I don't know. Hospitals are kind of fucking scary.
Yeah. But isn't that what you want, though?
I mean, it's a really, it comes down to like, do you want to like get possessed or not? I feel like in the woods, I have less of a chance of getting like hurt by a demon.
Have you not been listening to most of the stories we've read?
Yeah, but I know how to get out of the forest.
Okay.
What about you? What about you, T? Would you rather? Would you rather?
Is T answering?
You can look at the chat.
It's behind my mic.
Oh. I don't know what the delay is on this thing. She's on YouTube, so she could have a big delay. But you wouldn't have a phone. Question. Exclamation mark. Just.
I
Okay.
think that
Well.
answers her question.
All right. Okay. Hospital it is. I don't know. I don't know. I just there's a lot of horror stories in hospitals, and like it doesn't ever end well. So I don't know.
It doesn't end well in the forest either. You just don't know about it because people disappear.
Hold on one second. Hey, when I said come watch me, my horror stories, I meant it. All right. I'm lonely. Can you come, please? Thank you. Bye bye. Sorry, this is my Discord. All right. Next question. What's your go-to horror movie when you want to get genuinely freaked out? I would use my phone to escape, but love Andrea's photo shot idea. Hilarious.
See?
What's your go-to horror movie if you want to get creeped out?
I think the movie that's creeped me out is The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I still think about it to this day when I watched it, I don't know, 15 years ago. And then Hereditary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
I don't think I'll watch that one again though, but I definitely did watch it.
I'd say the Insidious series.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right? Those ones are pretty scary. And then
Yeah.
I would say Insidious and Paranormal Activity. Not
those are
all
good
the
ones,
paranormal
too.
activities, because not all the paranormal activities are scary.
Have you watched the Conjuring series?
I don't really like it. The first one was
There's
like,
a new
kinda,
one.
like, melodramatic, I think. I feel like it was like kind of played out too much.
I like them. I thought they were creepy. But there's a new one coming out. Or already out? I don't know which one it is. If you had to summon a demon, what snack would you offer to bribe it?
Oh, wait, hold on. T said the uninvited.
sorry.
What's that about? What's the uninvited about?
I've never seen that.
Yeah, what's that about?
T, you watch scary movies? I thought you didn't like them.
The Uninvited came out in 2009. Is Pedro Pascal in it?
Is he? I'd watch it just for that.
David Strengham is the guy was in a bunch of stuff. He was in New Girl.
Which one? Who was
David. He was like the old guy who was like dating her for a bit.
Nick Miller.
Not Nick.
Oh.
Her boyfriend before Nick.
Oh, I didn't really watch New Girl. I've only seen a few episodes. I don't like it. Alright. Are we ready for the stories?
Wait, we have more. I think we have more topics, don't we?
We have one more.
What was the question?
If you had to summon a demon, what snack would you offer to bribe it? I know.
Oh, yeah.
I would offer it spicy chips.
That's fucked up because it's gonna get really mad. Unless it likes
happy.
spicy, or unless you know what? Maybe it. But hold on.
Maybe it likes it.
But what if? Hear me out. What if it doesn't like it because it wants something sweet because it's sick of spicy?
What if it likes
that's all-
spicy?
But what if it's? But they're always eating spicy in hell, right? So
How do you
what
know
if
that?
I don't know.
I never thought about that. I
But
just
like, what if
figured
they're like,
they
what
like
if they want
spicy
something sweet?
stuff.
What if they want some like sugar cookies or something, like something random?
Oh, all right. I guess a sugar cookie is good. I'd maybe offer them like a nice wine. A nice wine.
Oh yeah, some wine. I bet you a demon
Yeah.
would like some wine and some cheese.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, because the uninvited terrified me. And yes, the paranormal activity ones too. T, does the PNG of Andrea's face swap look like her? And does it look like me? It doesn't really look like
It
you at all.
looks
I'm
like
very upset
you.
about it.
It does not look like me.
I'm
I
very
don't know
upset.
who you used.
It never gets your face right. It's so annoying. That's why I haven't been using it lately. All right, that's it. Wait. I think that's all the question, right? Where's the script here?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
ready to read.
All right. So the first story we're going to read is the expression list. And here's a good intro to it. Some things walk into the hospitals that don't belong to this world, and sometimes they walk back out. Is what we're gonna read. And as always, Andrea will start us off for this.
Okay. In June 1972, a woman appeared in Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles, California, in nothing but a white, blood-covered gown. Now, this in itself should not be too surprising, as people
Stop.
Huh?
I forgot to switch the song. Where it's the silly. Look at the horror song on here. My bad.
Okay.
All right, making the mood here. Perfect. I'm ready.
Okay. In June 1972, a woman appeared in Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles, California, in nothing but a white, blood-covered gown. Now, this in itself should not be too surprising, as people often have accidents nearby and come to the nearest hospital for medical attention. But there are two things that caused people who saw her to vomit and flee in terror. The first being that she wasn't exactly human. She resembled something close to a mannequin, but had the dexterity and fluidity of a normal human being. Her face was as flawless as a mannequin's, devoid of eyebrows and smeared in makeup. Alright, no eyebrows is creepy in itself. There was a kitten clamped in her jaws so unnaturally tight that no teeth could be seen, and the blood was still squirting out over her gown onto the floor. Then she pulled it out of her mouth, tossed it aside, and collapsed.
Not a kid.
She was eating a cat?
That's fucked up.
Ugh. From the moment she stepped through the entrance to when she was taken to a hospital room and cleaned up before being prepared for sedation, she was completely calm, expressionless, and motionless. The doctors thought it best to restrain her until the authorities could arrive, and she did not protest. They were unable to get any kind of response from her, and most staff members felt too uncomfortable to look directly at her for more than a few seconds.
Okay. And where'd you leave off?
But
the second the staff tried to sedate her, she fought back with extreme force. Two members of staff had to hold her down as her body rose up on the bed with the same blank expression. She turned her motionless eyes toward the male doctor and did something unusual. She smiled. As she did, the female doctor screamed and let go of shock. In the woman's mouth were not human teeth, but long, sharp spikes, too long for her mouth to close fully without causing any damage. The male doctor stared back at her for a moment before asking, "What the hell are you?" She cracked her neck down to her shoulder to observe him, still smiling. There was a long pause. Security had been alerted and could be heard coming down the hallway. As he heard them approach, she darted forward, sinking her teeth into the front of his throat, ripping out his jugular and letting him fall to the floor, gasping for air as he choked on his own blood. She stood up and leaned over him, her face coming dangerously close to his as the life faded away from his eyes. She leaned closer and whispered in his ear, "I am God." The doctor's eyes filled with fear as he watched her calmly walk away to greet the security men. His last ever sight would be watching her feast on them one by one. The female doctor who survived the incident named her the Expressionist. There was never a sighting of her again.
So, what was she?
A monster? She's gone. Obviously, is what she said.
Oh.
Hey, I have some pictures.
A cat. You have pictures?
Yeah.
I love a show and tell.
Yeah, here I'll show the pictures here on the stream. Let me just download them really quick. What do y'all think about that one?
I'd be scared.
I'd be scared.
Well, I would be scared um if I saw, well, in general, obviously, like who wouldn't? But I'd be scared seeing her smile. You know how I feel about smiles in not smiling situations.
Okay. Here are the pictures. I'm gonna delete these from my fucking computer after I'm done with these because they're fucking terrifying. All right. Here's the first one.
Ew.
All right.
She looks like a mannequin.
Yeah. Imagine seeing that as you're like dying on the ground.
No. No, thank you.
Yeah. That is absolutely terrifying. I'm good.
Do not like it.
So what the fucking I was hoping you were gonna get like way more freaked out for that picture because you do not like that stuff.
I don't. I did not get freaked out this time though. There's
that's
still hope. There's a couple left.
That's the expressionless. It's a short story. It's not that very long. All right. Second story is white with red. Introduction here says, not every warning is meant to be ignored. Sometimes it's the only thing keeping you alive.
All right, 1 second.
I
I realized it was a creepypasta.
I need closure on what she was. It's what chat's saying.
Huh?
You'll never get closure. The chat's saying, I need closure on what she was.
I don't see that.
You don't see that in the chat?
No.
Well, you're looking on YouTube. Are you looking at the chat that's built into the Riverside?
Yeah, I don't see anything on there.
What?
Oh, just kidding. I do see it now. Sorry, I've been having technical difficulties all day today. Okay.
Oh no, I'm starting this one.
Okay.
Starting this one. This one is called the... What did I say it was? Red and white. White and red. White with red. Shit. Zoom in here so I can see because I'm blind. Okay. 2-minute read. And the author for this one is unknown. So it's an unknown author, I'm pretty sure. No, the author was... Oh, anonymous. Okay. A man went to a hotel and walked up to the front desk to check in. The woman at the desk gave him his key and told him that on the way to his room there was a door with no number that was locked and no one was allowed in there. Especially no one should look inside the room under any circumstances. So he followed the instructions of the woman at the front desk, going straight to his room and going to bed. The next night, his curiosity would not leave him. Alone about the room with the no numbers. Hold on, I gotta like zoom out a little bit because I'm reading this like weirdly. He walked down the hall to the next door and tried the handle. Sure enough, it was locked. He bent down and looked through the wide keyhole. Cold air passed through it, chilling his eyes. What he saw was a hotel bedroom, like his, and in the corner was a woman whose skin was completely white. She was leaning her head against the wall, facing away from the door. He stared in confusion for a while. He almost knocked on the door, but out of curiosity, but decided not to.
This inclination saved his life. He crept away from the door and walked back to his room. The next day, he returned to the door and looked through the wide keyhole. This time, all he saw was redness. He couldn't make anything out beside a distinct red color, unmoving. Perhaps the inhabitants of the room knew he was spying the night before, and he had blocked the keyhole and something red. At this point, he decided to consult the woman at the front desk for more information. She sighed and said, "Are you gonna read?"
Yes,
What?
I'm trying to find it. Damn it! I'm one of the readers that gets really distracted. I'm listening, but I'm like distracted at the same time. Okay, she said, "Go ahead, read that whole thing again, and I'll come in here."
At this point, he decided to consult the woman at the front desk for more information. She sighed and said,
"Did you look through the keyhole?"
The man told her that he had, and she said,
"Well, I might as well tell you the story. A long time ago, a man murdered his wife in that room, and her ghost haunts it. But these days, these people were not ordinary. They were all white all over, except for her. God damn it. They were white all over, except for their eyes, which were red."
"So he was murdered."
Was his eyes red?
Well, he saw everything red,
Dang.
right? That's what I got from the story. I could be wrong.
Wait. Does that... So some of the comments are, does that mean he was staring into her eye the second time for a story? I'm confused.
I think he was one of the people that were murdered by the ghost for looking in, because the second time he went in, everything was red.
Oh, they got...
So
Yeah. He had contacts. That's what the chat said. He had contacts. So he's dead.
So, that's what I think. I don't know, I
So
could
the
be
red
wrong.
that the man see is the woman's eyes. That one was confusing for me.
That's what I got from it, but I could be wrong.
All right, your favorite type of story is next.
Oh God! If I have nightmares about this, it's gonna be your fault.
This next story is called The Smiling Man. Our third story of the day. Another short one. They're all pretty short, and then they start getting longer as we go. So we'll get to all of them.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. About 5 years ago, I lived downtown in a major city in the U.S. I've always been a night person, so I would often find myself bored after my roommate, who was decidedly not a night person, went to sleep. To pass the time, I used to go for long walks and spend the time thinking. I spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night, and never once had a reason to feel afraid. I always used to joke with my roommate that even the drug dealers in the city were polite, but all of that changed in just a few minutes of one evening.
It was
a Wednesday.
It was
No, you
Wednesday, somewhere between 1 and 2 in the morning, and I was walking near a police patrol parked quite a ways from my apartment. It was quiet, and even for a weeknight, with very little traffic and almost no one on foot, the park, as it was most nights, was completely empty. I turned down a short side street in order to loop back in my apartment when I first noticed him. At the far end of the street, on my side, was the silhouette of a man, dancing. It was a strange dance, similar to a waltz, but he finished each box with an odd forward stride. I guess you could say he was dance walking, headed straight for me.
Nope. Deciding he was probably drunk, I stepped as close as I could to the road to give him the majority of the sidewalk to pass by me. The closer he got, the more I realized how gracefully he was moving. He was very tall and lanky and wearing an old suit. He danced closer still until I could make out his face. His eyes were open wide and wild, head tilted back slightly, looking off at the sky. His mouth was formed in a painfully wide cartoon of a smile. Between the eyes and the smile, I decided to cross the street before he danced any closer. I took my eyes off of him to cross the empty street As I reached the other side, I glanced back and then stopped dead in my tracks. He had stopped dancing and was standing with one foot in the street, perfectly parallel to me. He was facing me, but still looking skyward, smile still white on his lips. Outta ran. Outta ran so fast.
Why is he staying there so long is the question. Why is he just sitting there? He's just watching this guy be weird? I'd be like, yeah, I'm leaving.
I know. He's like,
I'm
I
out.
don't
know. I was completely, utterly unnerved by this. I started walking again, but kept my eyes on the man. He didn't move. Once I had put about half a block between us, I turned away from him for a moment to watch the sidewalk in front of me. The street ahead of me was completely empty. Still unnerved, I looked back to where he had been standing to find him gone. For the bifest of moments, I felt relieved until I noticed him. He had crossed the street and was now slightly crouched down. I couldn't tell for sure due to the distance of the shadows, but I was certain he was facing me. I looked away from him for no more than 10 seconds, so it was clear that he had moved fast. I was so shocked that I stood there for some time, staring at him. And then he started moving toward me again. He took giant, exaggerated tiptoe steps as he were a cartoon character sneaking up on someone. Except he was moving very, very quickly.
I'd like to say at this point I ran away or pulled out my pepper spray or my cell phone or anything at all, but I didn't. I just stood there completely frozen as the smiling man crept toward me. And then he stopped again, about a car length away from me, still smiling his smile, still looking to the sky. When I finally found my voice, I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. What I meant to ask was, "What do you want?" Oh, sorry. That was you.
What do you want?
In an angry, commanding tone. What came out was a whisper.
What?
Regardless of whether or not humans can smell fear, they can certainly hear it. I heard it in my own voice, and that only made me more afraid. But he didn't react to it at all. He just stood there, smiling. And then, after what felt like forever, he turned around very slowly and started dance walking away. Just like that, not wanting to turn my back to him again, I just watched him go until he was far away enough to almost be out of sight. And then I realized something. He wasn't moving away anymore, nor was he dancing. I watched in horror as the distant shape of him grew larger and larger. He was coming back my way, and this time, he was running. I ran too.
Oh my god. Yo, have you ever... break real quick. Have you ever, when you're like a kid, where you're like playing with like your like parents or like an adult or something like that, and you're just, you know, in the backyard, and they start full sprinting at you, and it's the scariest thing ever? That's what this feels like. When someone, like when you're like in the dark and someone runs at full speed to you, it freaks me out.
Well,
I can just imagine
that was
like
him.
Yeah, or like when you're in your house alone and you turn off all the lights and you run to your room.
Oh yeah, so nothing catches you.
Yeah. I ran until I was off of the side of the road and I ran until I was off of the side road and back onto a better lit road with sparse traffic. Looking behind me, then he was nowhere to be found. The rest of the way home, I kept glancing over my shoulder, always expecting to see the stupid smile, but he was never there. I lived in that city for 6 months after that night, and I never went out for another walk. There was something about his face that always haunted me. He didn't look drunk, he didn't look high, he looked completely and utterly insane, and that's very, very, very scary thing to see.
I'd be scared. I mean, just the smiling alone.
It's for everyone to get a good kind of like image of what he looked like. This is what he looked like.
Yep, that was my jump scare when I was looking through the Discord, looking for the...
Oh, that was the first thing you saw?
That was the first thing I saw, and I was like, no.
That's hilarious. What do you think about that?
For just a second while you talk.
So, do the little pause here.
Yeah, it's the super quick trippy toes man. Nope. Who's what?
Nope, nope.
Quick tippy toes man. That sounds creepy in itself. Shut up.
Super quick toes man. No. I think that's how he's speaking. Like it's the quick tippy toes, man. And then nope. No, thank
Oh,
you.
I'll be right back. Shh.
Um, I'm not about it. I don't like that at all. But I wouldn't say it's so far the stories are creepy, but they're not too scary. Oh, perfect. We actually have a break here. So real talk. That's what we're doing here. Real talk. Who here has actually had a creepy night encounter while walking home? This is for the chat. This is the question for the chat. It's story time. That picture is just like the picture means you're just a really happy guy. That's funny. Maybe on too many happy pills. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, will we anyone ever have like a creepy night encounter? I'm gonna pause the music real quick while we do this break. Any creepy night encounters that you guys ever witnessed? Or had happened to you? It's Tony time is the absolute amazing quote. It is story time. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna show this for everyone to see. Hiking in the woods super late at night and far away is scary by itself, but no time we had a bear end up getting into a trash area. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I've ever had a creepy encounter at night before. I mean, I might have. I might just be blocking it out of my memory. Let me think. Oh, we're talking. The question right now, for this break is, so here you're gone. Is have you ever had a creepy encounter while walking home at night? You're muted. You're muted. Hello? Hello? Okay, now I can hear you. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear the question I asked you?
No, let me tell you what just happened. I put my headphones back in and then I was hearing you, but I thought it was you, but it was actually the YouTube video, which is like seconds delayed, like
Oh,
a minute delayed.
okay. It's like a
My
Japanese
bad.
movie. Um, have you ever had any creepy encounters walking home at night?
No, I don't really walk alone at night.
It's probably good.
I've had a creepy
Probably
encounter in the
pretty good.
woods.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Tell that.
I came here to Boise to visit my sister back in 2020,
Okay.
and we went hiking to these hot springs
Okay.
out in the middle of nowhere. You had to like hike 2 miles to get to the hot springs. We made it all the way up there, and then my sister had to go pee up there. Sorry, Christina, if you're listening. And she was like behind a tree, and she came back really scared and was like, "There's like somebody over there watching us." And we were like, "What?" And it was
Hey, yo.
my sister, her husband, my husband, and me, and we're just like we're like getting into the hot springs up there, and all of a sudden like we see this like white like shirt, like a wife beater shirt behind this log, but we would only catch glimpses of it because it was like up at the top, and so we were like, "What the fuck?" And she was like, "That's that guy," and this guy was like creeping on us.
He's like, I love watching women go into the hot springs.
I don't know because
That's what.
we started yelling at him like get the
Get
fuck
out of here.
away.
Get,
And
go
then
get.
we still went into the hot springs because we just fucking hiked 2 miles to get there.
Yeah, of
And
course.
we were in there, we were like really creeped out, so we were like, okay, like it's time for us to leave. And then we left, and as we were walking back, like hiking back down, he was following us because we could like see his wife beater behind the trees, and he was just hiding behind trees.
That's fucking crazy. Can I use that for a horror story, please?
Sure.
I need you to send that to me. That's
Okay,
hilarious.
I'll
I've been taking a lot of the stories that Perez or that Andrea has told me, and I've been taking a lot of stories that Andrea has told me, and I've been making them into short horror stories. It's really funny because she has a
wait
lot
till
of like weird shit that happens to her, or like even her dreams, and I'm like, that could be a really good horror story.
wait till I tell you like my actual ghost stories. I've never even
Jeez.
told you those.
All right. Next question. What's scarier to you? One person stalking you or something not human stalking you?
Person.
Yeah?
Sorry. I didn't know if I was going to answer. People are terrifying. I would
Okay.
hate to be stalked by a person.
Because it's
I
unpredictable.
mean, well, you don't know. People are crazy.
So like a creature that has ill intentions also is less scary than a person, like a human?
I I don't know.
Shit, that's something to think about.
I don't know. I've growing up, I used to see a lot of things, ghosts, you might say, and
Okay,
my
so
mom
just like
used to always tell me like, be scared of the living, not the dead, and so that's where that comes from.
here's the consensus of the chat. I can handle a person. I can't handle a supernatural being probably. I agree. I can do away with a person. I can do away with a person. Easy. But something that's can't be harmed or too hard to harm? I don't know.
I don't know.
Worst
T
thing
said,
worst thing a creature will do is kill you. I mean I don't want to die though. And then her second one said, people can and will be way creepier things. That's true.
yeah.
Break into your house, steal your underwear.
One time, wait, I'll tell you the story later.
You just wake up, you just, walk into your house and wearing your pantyhose just on your couch. You're like,
No,
what the fuck's happening? Sorry.
I'll tell you
What
this
is it?
later.
Tell me. Go ahead. You go. This is the best place. What do you mean? Say something.
That just like triggered something. One time we were at AT, and we were out in the middle of nowhere, and there was this one guy who was stealing the females' underwear, and they found his duffel bag full of them.
Type shit. Type shit. That's
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah. See,
Uh,
humans.
the worst thing a creature could do would be make you relive your worst experience over and over and over or something. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Like,
That is true.
demons just want to torture you forever. I feel like that'd be worse. Mentally and physically. Or they could just like do
Yeah.
horrible things while they're possessing you, and you have to witness it all. That could be also bad. Um, just food for thought. The the next story we're gonna be reading here, story 4 is the portraits. Um, and the little synopsis here is: you ever get that feeling? The paintings on the wall are watching you. What if they really were? I like that. I like
Um,
the start of that.
Give me 1 second. Let me send it over to me.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I'll start it off. Okay. The portraits. It's a 1 minute read. It's very short, less than a minute. There's a hunter in the woods, who, after a long day hunting, was in the middle of an immersed forest. It was getting dark, and having lost his bearings, he decided to head in one direction until he was clear of the increasingly oppressive foliage. After what seemed like hours, he came across a cabin in a small clearing. Realizing how dark it had grown, he decided to see if he could stay there for the night. He approached and found the door ajar. Nobody was inside.
The hunter flopped down on the single bed, deciding to explain himself to the owner in the morning. As he looked around, he was surprised to see the walls adorned by many portraits, all painted in incredible detail. Without exception, they appeared to be staring down at him, their features twisted into looks of hatred. Staring back, he grew increasingly uncomfortable, making a concerted effort to ignore the many hateful faces. He turned to face the wall, and exhausted, he fell into a restless sleep. Face down in an unfamiliar bed, he turned, blinking in unexpected sunlight. Looking up, he discovered that the cabin had no portraits, only windows. Oh, fuck no.
Fuck that!
No.
Fuck that! Okay, no, fuck that. That's crazy. That's crazy. They weren't even portraits. They were legit creatures or monsters. That's wild.
Yeah. No.
Thanks. I'm good. I'm good on that. That's all. That's crazy. That is very unnerving. I don't like that at all.
Wait, that was really creepy. I did not like that.
I did not like that. Some of the comments are small but tasty bowl of pasta. It's a pretty funny comment. Someone said, just trying a different take on the story. Maybe when he fell asleep, he became one of the portraits hanging in the cabin. No, this one was a way better ending than that.
Unless he died.
I want to know about those weird portraits, someone said. Well, that was horrifying.
There weren't any weird.
There weren't portraits. They were in the windows.
They were people.
That was the punchline. That's crazy. I'm not like that. I don't like that. Okay.
I didn't like that either.
Next story. This one is a famous pasta. It is anonymous again. The rating's pretty high. It's called The Strangers. It's a 19-minute rating, so it's a bit longer. So everyone who's currently watching, I'll wait for them either to come back or fill in here. It's a longer story, so I don't want them starting in the middle of it.
I'm not seeing the comments that you're saying.
I wonder if you can only see YouTube's. Can you see them when I put them on the screen? So I'm dual streaming to Twitch and YouTube right now currently.
So the only thing that I can see is the worst thing a creature could do.
That's Twitch.
Would be make you relieve.
You're not seeing T? You see T too, right?
I see T's on my phone because I have the YouTube one up, but I see on the chat that Shirt Tripper.
Yeah. Oh, so you're only seeing half of them. That's fine. Okay, so longer story. We got about a few people in here, so we're gonna start it. It's about 20 minutes, so buckle in. Let me go ahead and highlight all the reading parts, if there's any. There's a bunch. Okay, cool.
There is.
Yeah, there's a few. But it looks like
okay.
I don't actually. Yeah. Okay. Maybe not. I don't know.
We're reading The Rake?
No, not The Rake. The Strangers.
What the fuck? Hold on, I'm sorry.
Next story, The Strangers.
Oh,
like I said, 20 minutes. 20-minute read. With us, maybe 25. Add a little bit.
Fair. I'm sorry. I have to switch it over to Brave.
Yeah, because of all the ads?
Yeah.
Understandable. Do you ever just get blinded by, like, how bright browsers are now? It's like a flashbang.
I have to put my brightness down for everything. It's like migraine inducing. Okay, I'm on The Strangers now.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. My name is Andrew Eriks. I used to live in a city you probably heard of called New York. My mother is Teresa, really. She's in the phone book under E, if they ever have those things anymore. If they even have those things anymore. Maybe you could just Google her, I don't know. If you know the city and you read this, find her. Please, don't show her this, but do me a favor and tell her I love her and tell her and let her know that I'm trying to come home, really. It all started around the time I turned 25. I decided for no good reason that it was time for me to give up taking a backpack to work. Idiotically, I thought that would make me look more like the guys I saw on the trains. You know, the ones the women are with. The guys who made it. I figured that if I weren't lugging around a ridiculous looking book bag
boy.
everywhere, like some brain dead kid, I'd be seen as more mature because I wouldn't look like, stupid. Yeah, right. I know.
So it's an incel
What
story.
a-
Got it.
Yeah.
That's what
The
that's
fuck?
what about. The guys that won.
Okay.
The guys who have girlfriends. Those are the winners. Okay. Well, that meant that I had to give up reading on the subway going to and from work. See, I get a seat because I got on early. Then hide a book under the back. Oh, sorry. And then hide a book under the pack in such a way that it's peeking out just enough for me to see it. Because, who wants to get jumped for reading? And like, hell, was I going to wear a messenger bag? Please, you're joking, right? Like normal things that people do.
Okay. What the fuck?
For a while, I had an MP3 player I got from my mom. That helped pass the time for a while, and I could even put books on it from the library. It was perfect, as no one can tell me what they're. Damn it! It was perfect because no one can tell what you're listening to. If you nod your head every once in a while, they think it's music, buddy. But I dropped the thing getting off the train, and one of those shoveling let me off of the damn train fits. Even since then, it's been shutting down at the end of every song. If I don't tap it to skip to the next track, so I gave that up too. Guys just hate life. He's like super introvert. That's what it is.
I mean, I think
And he
introvert
also
is a
cares
nice
about what
way
people
to
think.
put it. Yeah. Instead, every morning on my way in, I'd sit on the endless A train with nothing to do but watch the other passengers. I was relatively shy. I'm serious. No shit. Sorry. I talk like I'm not, but I really am. See, I didn't want to be caught looking or even looking like I was looking. Instead, I watched people from the corner of my eye. I figured out pretty fast that I wasn't the only person in the world who wasn't totally comfortable out in public. Different people hide in different ways, but I could see through them. I made friends for them. I made groups for them in my head. First, there were the fidgeters, who couldn't get comfortable, always moving their hand, shifting their weight, and edging their legs closer to their seats, then away. They were the most nervous types. After them, second, we have the fake sleepers, who would take a seat and practically close their eyes in the same moment. Lots of them were rich white guys who did this to avoid giving a seat to a pregnant woman or an older person. When I saw them, I gave my seat up right away because most of those guys weren't really sleeping at all, and I'd try really hard to get close and accidentally kick their shoes or something. Then I'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Oh, sorry, go ahead. We're gonna read the thing.
No, go ahead and read that part because it's not really dialogue.
Then I'd be all like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to wake you." Right? Anyway, the real sleepers, my third group, shifted more suddenly whenever we stopped, or they were startled by loud noises. The fakes just zoned out the second they sat down until the moment they reached their stop, at which point they'd hop up, peppy and alert, and jump off. I didn't like them much. Why, do you ask?
It's really, he says that he asked that question and kind of jumps into the next topic.
Yeah.
Then comes the fourth group, MP3 player addicts. The one people who probably lumped me into if they had watched me in my earlier days. People in this group were related to the fifth group, the occasional laptop losers, and those in the sixth were ordinary people, the ones who traveled in groups and talked too loudly. So, New Yorkers. I crack myself up. I hate the protagonist.
I don't like him.
I hate the protagonist in this story. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, right around when people watching was very same old, I had my first surprise. A middle-aged white man with brown hair, completely average looking, and casual Friday clothing. Dockers, business-friendly sweater, you know, the type. He was so normal. He almost too normal. You know what I mean? He had nothing special about him. No funky hand movements, didn't weird laugh or anything. It was as if he'd been designed by one of those cop shows to fake you out. Like he was born to melt into a crowd. That's why I noticed him. Thoughts so far?
I don't like the guy. I don't know where the story is going
I really
whatsoever.
don't. I have no idea where it's going. Here I was, purposely trying to see how people acted on the train, so he could categorize them, and he didn't act at all. He didn't react either. It was like seeing someone sitting in front of a television watching a documentary about, I don't know, something really boring, like fish. The guy watching isn't excited or focused. He's just not looking away either. Present, but not accounted for. Okay, well, I will say I do like to people watch, but I don't like do it this way.
I mean, I'm pretty obvious when I people watch.
I'm like,
I don't try to do it like out of the corner of my eye, you know?
I was like,
your binoculars out in public?
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing? Why do you act that way? Yeah, that's me.
Anyway, I'm not that good at being punctual. My mom said, so I didn't get on the train at exactly the same time every day. And since I didn't care one way or the other, I didn't try to sit in the same car either. Random was fine with me. So I was more than a month into my people watching and grouping experiment before he caught my eye. The normal guy I told you about. I saw him for the first time on a Monday, I think. Yeah, it was definitely a Monday, because I know I saw him the second time on a Thursday when I was heading home to hang out with the same crew I've hung out with every Thursday night since we were all in school together. Mr. Normal Guy, well, he obviously didn't catch the same train, and he sat in the same car, the first car, and in the same seat even. Talk about obsessive compulsive. At least that's what I thought at the time. What I should have been thinking, however, was crap, that is not normal. Again, I don't know where the story is going.
Since I'd caught... Wait, what?
Yeah.
So, okay. Since he caught my attention... When you said, I don't know where the story is going, I thought that was part of the story. I was like,
no,
what?
That was me.
Okay.
I don't know where the story is going.
Since he caught my attention so well the first time I saw him, I watched him every more closely the next time. Frankly, something about him made me really uncomfortable. Mind you, he didn't do anything to make me feel like that. He didn't do anything at all, really. But what creeped me out, maybe, was how much he was trying not to be there. The way he sat there in silence, staring straight ahead with a blank expression on his face, no matter what happened, was unnerving. Once, a woman with a crying kid entered the car and sat next to him. Still nothing. He didn't so much as turn his head or stare the kid down. And that little punk was seriously loud, too. But by the time the subway reached my stop that Thursday, I felt sick. Queasy sick. And when I left the car, my hands were shaking like I was in the throes of nicotine withdrawal. That man was wrong. He was some kind of freak. A sociopath, perhaps? One of those quiet guys who, as it later turns out, has a dozen women's heads in his freezer. The first victim likely his own mother. That's not sociopaths, that's psychopaths, okay?
It's like a serial killer.
Well, serial killers are usually psychopaths.
I know, but you know what I mean. This guy is like overanalyzing at things.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe he's just right.
Maybe. I'm telling you all this so it'll make sense why the next part is so weird. Because he freaked me out, so you'd think I would do everything I could to stay away, right? Yeah, I would have thought that too. In my early days, he was just part of my grouping experiment, and not a particularly interesting one at that. At least I had convinced myself of that, and it wasn't long before I noticed I'd been wasting time after work in the afternoons, poking around the newsstand, reading magazines I didn't want until the clerk chased me away for loitering. Unconsciously, I was doing my best to stay off the guy's train. And if I found myself on the platform at the wrong time, his time, I made damn sure to choose the last car, the one as far away from him as possible. The opposite of obsession, right? Fine. That's actually not. It's like the same as obsession.
Yeah, you're just thinking
Then,
about a different car.
yeah. Then on my way to work one morning, I saw another person who set off the same alarming bells in my head. You want to read? You want me to keep reading?
This time was a woman in the last car, just as plain looking and just out of place in all the hustle and bustle around her. The moment I saw that she was in his category, I only realized it later, when I had lots of time to think about it. You understand? Well, the moment was when my obsession officially began. All of my people watching, which began as a way to keep myself from dying of boredom, became a religion to me. I couldn't set foot on a subway platform or ride a bus without examining everyone and filling out a mental checklist in my head. Plain clothes, solid colors, no brands. Check expressionless. No casual glances out of the windows or towards other passengers. Check. No bags, purses, or accessories. Check, check, check. And got another. I started calling them the strangers.
So anybody who didn't have anything, like they were just kind of like,
People are like this the whole time.
what are they? Like an? Never mind. Okay.
Just imagine this. So like you're like sitting across from someone like this whole time.
I was thinking like what are they called? NCPs,
An
NPCs.
NPC.
Yeah.
Those NPCs.
I started calling them strangers. No, I started calling them the strangers. Like any other convert, I love the connection. Finding my next stranger fix was my ritual. I didn't see them every day, even after I started taking the subway more than I needed to, but they were there often enough. Seeing one would set me on edge, make my palms sweaty and my throat dry. I know that sounds like a bad thing, but like I said, I was obsessed. Even though they didn't pay me any attention, they never looked at me or made eye contact, they're treating me as if I were invisible, I still feel like I was totally exposed in their presence, a flashing neon sign in the midst of Times Squares, as it were. I could see them plain as day. How could they be so oblivious of me?
But they never noticed me, not in any way that I could tell. And when my curiosity finally gave my fear a beatdown, I decided to follow one of them. Oh boy. I thought I should go back to my first, the man on the afternoon train, who always chose the same seat in the same car. I imagined he'd be easy to find, so I went to a likely platform and waited, watching for him in the windows. On the front cars that pulled in, there he was. I got on and took a seat diagonally across from him, doing my best to look inconspicuous. He rode up into the end of the line, and he got up and walked out before I did. Keeping a reasonable distance between us, I trailed him. But it wasn't much of a trick. He didn't even leave the platform. He took a seat on one of the cleaner wooden benches, as expressionless as always. What the fuck? And I went behind one of the big map boards and waited, trying to look blase. Trying to look blasé. After a few minutes, the next down train arrived, and I watched him get in and take the same seat. I didn't have the courage to follow him again.
He hadn't gone anywhere.
He followed this guy. They got off the train. He sat down on a bench and got back on the fucking train.
So he just rides the train all day, every day.
Weird.
NCPs. Or NPCs.
Basically, literally.
What are they called?
Legit, yeah, NPCs, yeah. Legit,
yeah, NPCs.
Legitimately, that's what it is, yeah.
They're just making the train look full.
Yeah.
He hadn't gone anywhere. He just rode to the end of the line, and then what? Rode it back? What possible reason would anyone have for doing that? It nagged at me. Long after I'd taken the next downtown back home. I tried to get some rest, but I couldn't leave it alone, not until I could make sense of him. I was beyond confused. I was very angry. Why was this jackass, this inhumanly silent and still bastard, riding trains back and forth and going nowhere? He bothered me, but not the way a guy would unapologetically slams into you on the street without looking twice does. He bugged me the way spiders do. Big, hairy, train riding freak spider guy makes me want to get the hell away from him. That was how the strangers were beginning to look to me. They made my eyes water and my mouth dry. But did that stop me? Hell no, of course not. Okay, this guy has to get a life.
Oh my god. Desperate
It's
to
wild.
satisfy my curiosity, I followed him again the next day. And again the next day. And again the next day. And every day after that. Every day for at least a week. The two of us made our silent trips together. Though only I noticed, by the end of the week I was following him for hours. All day, every day, all night. Well, past the time that the train started running night expresses and passing stations like my stop in parts of the town that shut down for the night. We rode from the east end of the city system down around and to the top, then back again. I wasn't people watching any longer. I was person watching, stranger watching. It's called stalking. You're stalking somebody.
I was about to say that.
It's called stalking. Let's get that straight. I didn't see anyone else on those trains I rode that week. I could have been the only two people on the planet, for all I knew, or cared. I lost my job after that. My manager was nice about it, but didn't leave any room to beg. I lost my concentration, my focus. I had become totally unproductive. It was actually kind of heartfelt speech. To be honest, he had been a nice guy, but you know what? As distracted as I was, I can barely remember him, or the words that came out of his mouth during the talk. All I could think about while he was speaking was my new work, my responsibility, my vigil.
Yeah, he's a fucking stalker.
Okay, dude. Tara said... Oh, wait, never mind. That's way long time ago. Keep going.
What would that man, that thing on the subway get up to when I wasn't there to keep an eye on him? How would we all survive without me watching? I left work for the last time at noon that day. Normally I'd have started tailing my subject at 5:30, but I just knew that he'd be waiting for me. I wish now that I'd paid more attention to that day. Was it sunny? It was summer after all. When did it start feeling like he knew I'd be there? I wonder because that was the last day I could have walked around downtown. My last chance to have had a beer or two at the joint with the cream-colored menus and the tables on the sidewalk. I could have sat there, checking out the girls walking by in their summer dresses. Or would that place make me drink wine? Whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, I could have had a good time, gone home, and put all this insanity out of my head. I could have looked for a new job and started reading again. Instead, I waited for the train. Alright.
What?
I don't know.
So the stars in between here, by the way, means it's like a new scene change, right? So it's gonna be kind of like a new, not new, but like it's the scene changing, almost like an act.
Okay.
Many trains are on the tracks at any given time in the city that never sleeps. So I sat in the station for at least an hour until I scored. There he was, finally. Okay, hold on. Huge dynamic character change. He is now a drug addict. He's homeless. Just stalking this guy.
Wait.
Until
Okay,
scored
so
that
I
means
read
he's doing
that.
drugs.
Well, yeah, but I thought it was like his drug, you know, like following him. Like, oh yeah, I got my score. Like, I don't know. Shut up.
Maybe you're right. You're probably right. But it still means he's a drug addict. It's dopamine at this point.
Yeah.
There he was, finally, framed in the first car window as his train pulled in. I waited there for the exciting crowd to thin. Then shoved past the stranglers and noticed, surprised, that my skin wasn't clammy, my hands weren't shaking, and my heart wasn't pounding. I sat for the first time right across from him, directly in his line of sight, and watched for him to make a change. Any change. Eyes, mouth, hell. If one of those hairs on his head had moved, that would have been something. But no, no change, no anything. Did he recognize me? If he did, I couldn't tell. And I was looking hard. He had to be a strange pair, sitting across from each other that afternoon, staring at and into one another. Because this time, he had to look at me. I'm sure my face said plenty, and I couldn't believe I was able to keep as still, as expressionless as he was, because inside I was screaming, "React to me, you freak! See me! Damn it! Because I sure as hell can see you! You spider-brained bastard!" But I didn't scream.
Wild insult.
But I didn't scream. I didn't answer. Not during the first trip uptown, or the second one down, or the third, or even the 10th.
We rode into the night together, and at the end of each line, we got out and waited. This time, I didn't play. I mimicked him exactly, sitting right beside him on the bench and staring straight ahead, but always watching him from my peripherals, and still nothing. But two could play, right? At least we made our final trip together. That day, I felt untouchable. I was downright smug, so certain I had him and that he knew it. The conductor, mostly understandable on the speaker, announced this would be the train's last run for the night. He'd be switching to a different train when we reached the last stop, and the engine and car I found myself in would retire for maintenance. So here it was now, officially, the last night of the trip.
I'm too proud to tell you that I'd always let him get away from me before this point, when it was this late. The end of the line is a long way from my home. And if the trains go slow this time of night, the buses are flat out worse than waiting for Santa's sleigh to show up and take you home in July. But this time, I thought, what the hell? I'd follow him and finally get a look at where he was. What he was. When the train stopped running, maybe this time I'd get some answers. The subway rolled on toward the end, and my stomach rolled with it. The car emptied with like coffee. Through a filter into it was just us, two silent watchers beneath the city. I fought to keep a crazy grin off my face. While the subway train slowed to a crawl and then stopped, the doors opened to no one. The end of the line. The stranger didn't move, didn't react at all. The car stood still. Doors open. I could hear a few stranglers faintly far down the platform, making their way out of the station, their footsteps echoing the silence. Nothing. The speaker system was cracked in a half-assed attempt to let any sleeping riders know that we'd be gone as far as we could go. Still nothing.
And then I heard footsteps again, a conductor perhaps, popping his head into each car to make sure it was empty before he took the train to wherever the hell it goes for the night. No matter what I heard, however, I wasn't about to take my eyes off my captive.
Oh my god.
Damn, now he's called a captive.
Oh my god.
I paid attention to the conductor when he finally reached our car while still staring down the stranger. The conductor looked in. His eyes scanned over us, and then he looked confused, like he'd forgotten a phone number he'd known his whole life. He blinked a few times and paused. I waited for him to say something, but the moment stretched out, spinning slowly in a track breeze. Then, with a slight shake of his head, he walked towards the conductor's door, keyed it open, and left us in the main car. A few minutes later, the train started up again. We rode straight off underground for a while. Then it felt like the train looped around and stopped. I could see the windows of more trains behind my motionless companion, and through those train windows, more trains. And then, while I was trying to calculate my next steps, he smiled at me.
Oh shit!
It was nothing more than a slight curl of the lip, but I noticed. I probably wouldn't have if it hadn't spent the last God knows how many hours studying his face. A smile is normal, right? No, of course not. Sometimes, as it turns out, it's not. So, the
Wait,
stranger
this is
said it.
me. This is me.
Sorry.
So,
The stranger said in a rough baritone.
here we are.
I tried to respond but couldn't. My throat had clamped shut. I was incredulous. I'd been waiting for this for what felt like my whole life, and yet I'd been rendered speechless. The entire tunnel system we were in felt as if it would just collapse onto me. I coughed and stammered and finally managed, in a rasping voice, nope, in a rasping tone, to ask the question that kept me up at night. The one which drove me halfway to madness and led me to this place at this moment.
What are you?
He ignored me and stood. The train doors opened and he started walking. A moment later, he turned and stared straight into me again.
Coming.
He called. He didn't wait for an answer but stepped out onto the platform. I scrambled out after him, finding words difficult to come by, and immediately wished I had brought a bottle of water.
Come on, damn it.
I finally shouted, then tripped on the uneven platform. He ignored me and continued walking.
Talk to me.
I hollered while I picked myself up.
Who are you? What are you? Why do you ride the trains all day?
He didn't look back or slow his step. I couldn't see his face as I recovered my balance. But I'm willing to bet he didn't react at all, or at least no more than he had in response to anything else. I stalked after him, shouting until I realized the futility of my actions, and I gave up. 5 words were all I was going to get out of him, it seemed.
In spite of a growing sense of unease, I was overwhelmed with curiosity. I come all this way, and I wasn't about to leave without any explanation. And so I traversed the platform until he came to an odd junction of sorts, unlike any I'd ever seen in the New York City subway system before. Trains lined up on both sides of a platform that appeared to stretch into infinity. This place was even spookier than the old ghost platform I was lucky enough to glimpse in a dim tunnel years ago on a quiet early morning when my train was rerouted. Suddenly, the stranger turned. We had been walking perpendicular to the trains around us, passing though nose after nose after the hulking vehicles, their headlights seemingly glaring at us as we passed. The path ahead was lit from above, but I couldn't see where it ended. Innumerable trains on either side of us went on forever, so far as I could tell, far too many trains to service one city. Even one was densely populated as New York. No one needed this many trains. It wouldn't have changed anything, I know, but I probably should have paid more attention to that at the time.
Where are they?
They're underground with the subway system where they store all the trains.
Okay. I'm not sure how long we walked. I had a watch once, but it broke and I never replaced it. Kind of like the MP3 player now that I think about it. Go figure. Pathetically, I took out my cell phone at one point, but as expected, I had no signal. The stranger stopped every now and then. I looked at the subway car for long enough to get me jumpy, and then he'd pass on. I'd tender looking at the train he'd paid so much attention to, seeing nothing out of the ordinary about it at all. Finally, after who knows how long, I saw what he saw. The trains weren't all the same. We'd walk past tons that were similar, and then we'd come upon a different model. Even in the gloom, it was easy to tell that they were a little larger or smaller, or that they had a different curve to their nose, different siding, or different doors. The conductors' cabins were a little different as well. I didn't see and still don't know exactly what the stranger was looking for, but he was waiting for the trains to tell him. But he must have found it because zip, there he went, turning down a platform, and the train's doors opened as he stopped in front of them. I followed closely behind, and we took our usual seats in the darkened car.
Are you willing to speak now?
I asked him. No answer. I sighed with frustration and seriously began weighing the pros and cons of punching him in the face when the lights in the car came on and the engine started.
What the hell?
When he locked eyes with me then, he actually looked sad. Then he offered 6 more words that changed everything.
You can't go back, you know. What the hell are you talking about?
I retorted.
Go back where?
The stonewalling bastard just sat there, ignoring me. Our train lurched. Oh, sorry, you can go.
No, go ahead. There's more dialogue coming up.
Our train lurched, pushing off the opposite direction from what I expected. The Macy's Day never-ending parade of trains had thrown off my senses of direction, I guessed. We rolled on for a few minutes and then slowed as we approached the stop. His gaze, vacant since the train started moving, grew sharper. For the first time, I got the sense that he was finally staring at me, rather than just staring in the direction I happened to be in.
Be still. Be silent. Don't catch their attention.
The train stopped, the doors opened, and they began to flood in. He's one of the NPCs now.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be like one of them now.
That's how they get you.
Yeah. I don't know what I noticed first. The weird clothes, the 2 long arms with hands nearly brushing the floor, the jet black eyes that set deep into angular faces, or the blue-gray skin. My eyes saw it, but my brain refused to process it. When my mind could no longer ignore the horrors right in front of me, it was all I could do to stifle the shriek, which threatened to tear its way out of my throat. My frantic heart felt like it was going to explode out of my chest. Like a strummed bass string, everything in my lurched and throbbed with the rolling spasms of horror. My head grew dizzy, my eyes fogged over, which I was thankful for, and I felt bile rising in the back of my throat. Following the stranger's instructions, I kept my mouth clenched shut, forcing me to swallow it back down, managing only because the other option was much worse. My instinct screamed his words at me. Be still, be silent. Don't catch their attention. The rest of the day was a blur.
We rode the subway car up and down the line, both still, both expressionless, for hours, for days maybe. It seemed longer than the route I knew. The line I'd followed the strangers on for so long. The hideous things around us seemed to pay us no mind, though I, at least, must have stood out like a nun at a heavy metal concert. When we finally returned alone at the endless cavern of trains, I burst into tears in our blessedly empty car and collapsed to the floor, exhausted, and sobbed for a long time. The strangers simply watched. When my breathing had returned somewhat to normal, I managed to croak.
Take me home, please. I can't.
He said bluntly.
I don't know which one of these would lead you back, if any of them do.
He stood, the doors opened again, and he stepped out once again onto the platform. I fought the urge to whimper like an abused puppy and followed him. He spun around, eyes glinting.
You followed me long enough. What?
I shouted, fury overshadowing my misery. Rushing forward, I grabbed the stranger by the shoulders and with an unexpected burst of strength, slammed him up against the side of the nearest train car.
You son of a bitch! What the hell did you get me into? What the hell did you do to me?
I smashed him against the metal walls again and again.
Take me back!
I screamed. Like a candle deprived of oxygen, the sight of his eyes returning once more to their usual emotionless state extinguished the rage in me, and I felt my anger peter out, leaving me hollow.
Please take me home. That's not how it works. Go your own way, be still, and be subtle, and then they'll think that you're one of theirs. One of their what?
He peered down at his hands in silence.
How could you do this to me? Why?
He cast me a melancholy glance.
You'll do it too. Sometimes you get stuck.
He brushed my hands off his shoulders and turned to walk away. Devastated, I fell to my knees. He turned back to me one final time. Oh, did you say I'm sorry? Mm-hmm. Okay. He said and touched his fingers to my forehead. This is the last thing I remember.
End of Act 2. I don't know what he did to me or why. When I came to, I knew my role, and I played it to the best of my ability. I was still, I was silent, and I rode to the ends of the lines no matter who or what got on. Being still was as good as being invisible, but once in a while I caught a reflection in a train window the first 100 times it happened. I didn't catch on, but eventually even I understood. The longer I rode with the things, the more I became like them. I was stuck in their own world until someone started watching me. Then, if they followed, and only then, I had a chance of getting back to the endless platform of the lost trains. In the time I spent ensnared in that place, I did some terrible things, things I'm not proud of, to the other strangers. But I made my choice. I was not going to be lure anyone else into their trap. Not even if I got me home faster. They were better off dead than being in whatever state I was. Makes me wonder, though, about the stranger who got me into the situation. I wonder what he originally looked like, and whether he knew or could have killed me and gotten to the tub that way. I wonder, too. But the others I saw back home, and the rare few I've come across since I left, do they kill them or take them? Or whichever one they choose, do they consider it a mercy? I can't bring myself to talk to them, to ask. We're damned either way, and the damned ought to suffer in silence.
I've killed 15 strangers now, and I've gotten very good at it. But I've made a decision. I'm done killing, innocents at least. Before I returned to the central hub this last time, I scrounged as much paper as I could and I wrote this story, over and over again, to be left in as many subway cars as I could manage. Thousands of messages in the bottles cast in a sea of steel rails. This tale is a request, it's also a warning. My request, remember, was that you find my mother and tell her a lie. It's a white lie, don't worry. You have to find her and tell her that I love her and that I'm trying to come home. It may give her some hope or peace or something. And oh, I wish it were true. But here's the thing. I've been thinking I'm similar to the character we read about in school when the teacher tried to get us jazzed up about mythology. Did you ever read the story about
Odysseus.
Odysseus?
Od-
Odysseus?
Odysseus.
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 Okay. Yep, that what you just said. Lost and drifting upon the sea, looking to return home to something and someplace familiar. That's me, struggling to find my way. But that's where the similarities end, I'm afraid, because I'm not lost at sea. I'm lost in endless tunnels, a labyrinth of sorts. The distinction is important because labyrinths are designed. They're built intentionally, and just like those old legends about Theseus?
Theseus.
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 Wow, I can't say a lot of words. It's the same here.
Someone or something made this impossible place, and they're going to pay for what they've done to me. The rules of this place have transformed me from what I once was into something else entirely, something horribly inhuman, and then into something else again. They've created a monster, and that's what they expect. I'll be their monster, or I'll be their minotaur in this labyrinth, and if I can, I'll tear it down around me and take the ones that built it along for the ride. They have no idea who they've. Oh my god. They have no idea who they're dealing with. They never should have messed with a New Yorker.
Okay, dude, come on.
Oh my god! The story
Alright.
was good, and then that line is. I might crash out. Okay, let's keep reading.
My warning, because I'm trying to be a good Samaritan here with my balled up story scribbled on dirty paper, is that you should stay as far away as possible, even in public spaces, from silent, expressionless people. Just keep your distance. They may kill you or something far worse. If you see them, run far and run fast. And even more importantly, I beg you, do not ride any train to the end of the line. That ride might just be your last, or might just be forever.
And that is the end of the story. They have
Okay.
no idea who they're dealing with. They never should have messed with a New Yorker.
Okay.
Corny!
Overall, in general, don't hate the story. Creepy, I guess.
Someone
I hate
really
the way
doesn't like
it's
internet.
written.
What?
I hate the way it's written.
That, what do you mean?
Like the the guy's perspective. The
Oh yeah,
storyteller.
the
I
protagonist.
hate it. Yes, hate
Yeah.
him. We would not be friends.
They
I would want
never
to punch
should
him in
have
the
messed
face.
with a New Yorker.
Ugh, so dumb.
Oh my god, that is the most cringiest line in the whole fucking story. I cannot
I thought
believe they were. I cannot believe the writer was writing some like, oh, this is gonna be the best line in here. No one should mess with New Yorkers.
I thought the beginning part of it was like kind of cringy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
It was literally. I mean, like he literally said. He was like, the guys who actually win have girlfriends. Oh god. I see the red. I was like, oh boy. Jesus Christ.
it's something.
Um, this one has pictures. So that's I the story is an 8, but it's a famous creepypasta. It's one of those famous ones, and a lot of times the famous ones are famous for just being around for so long and so many people reading it. And as there's a lot of good things in that story. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good redeeming things in that story that would make the story really cool. It's just that some of the shit's really cringy, which is odd because it was written in 2019, which is that's when creepypasta started to be a little bit more better than like corny tropes. I don't know if everyone agrees with what I'm saying, but I like the premise and I liked where he was going with it. There's some of the things in there was like, what? So, um, take a little break here since that was a 20-minute read before we jump into the next story. Um, which story so far hit you the hardest? Creepy mannequin lady, smiling man, or portraits watching you? Or the strangers? This is for the everyone who's watching as well.
Oh, oh, not just. Oh,
Yeah, and you
wait.
too, and
Can
you
I
too.
answer?
Everyone who was
Okay.
watching that, who was listening to that story, has left. So it's just you, me, and like a couple people.
I think the Smiling Man is my least favorite, and you know why. And then the
So yeah,
portrait's also kind of creepy because it was like so short and like to the point. It's like fuck, you know?
yeah. So for me, I would say that what hit the hardest is probably that one, the portraits, because super short and to the like the point. The pacing was really good, and the way it ended was like, oh shit, I like that one a lot.
Yeah,
What about
that was good.
everyone in the chat here? I can't stand not knowing. I still want to know who the lady was. I don't know what she was. She said she was God.
It's not true. She probably escaped like a mental hospital or like some weird cult down the road.
Yeah, probably. Um. Okay. Do you think supernatural stories are scarier when they're short and snappy, or when they slowly build tension?
Short and snappy.
Really?
I don't know. The portrait one was short and snappy, and that was kind
So,
of weird.
I've read, I've listened to the story "Stolen Tongues," and that is it's a slow build, tension building, and it is the one of the scariest stories I have ever listened to.
Is it a written one? We can read it.
Yeah, it's really long, and that'd be like the whole stream. It'd take like 3 hours. But
3 hours.
yeah, it's a long story. But it's
Jesus.
about
I'll be right back.
skinwalkers, and that's why I like it a lot.
Oh.
It's good. Um, but it really depends, right? So, for me, I would say either or because some supernatural stories are way better as short and snappy, and some of them are way better being long. So it really just depends on how it's written and how the author takes the story. Is the short stuff for Stephen King? Well, yeah, Stephen King is like the goat for short stories, though. He's like so good at short stories. Well, yeah. Stephen King is a different type of author, though, where like I feel like his long stories are dragging because he just has so many books. So I feel like sometimes he doesn't know where to go with it, so he just kind of like prolongs it. Dude was just pumping out books every month. It's crazy. But no, it just really depends for me. It depends on like the premise. It also has to do with like if I'm interested in whatever they're telling for the story. Like if it's like a longer one, I have to be in it. I have to be immersed. I have to like want to keep reading where it like interests me. And that'll keep me reading the longer stories. But if it doesn't keep my attention, it's not a good story, right? Um, Short stories though, like anthologies that are like between about 800 to 2,000 words, right? Which is about like a 10-minute read. Those ones are really good too. So, do you guys know the ebook House of Leaves? House of Leaves. That sounds familiar. No, I don't think I've read it though. I don't think I've read it. But it's not. You said it's an ebook. Uh, it can be a tough read, but it's really good. Tough read being it's long. I'm guessing. Physical person. Yeah, I like. Here, I'll show you. I like having physical books to read. I don't like I don't like I look at it, but I like reading physical books instead of it being ebooks. Except it's like short.
You don't like ebooks?
If it's like short stories like this, I'm okay reading. But when I want to read like an actual book, I'd rather have a physical copy. It just feels better, and like I own it too. I don't know what it is. I hate libraries too because I can't keep the book. I like going to libraries to like read, but I don't like what's it called? Just borrowing a book. You know what I mean? All right, so this next story is called The Rake. Which is a very famous creepypasta, and it like was viral when it came out. It scared a lot of people. It's insanely printed horse rate. Oh hell yeah! But this next one coming up is a famous creepypasta. Author is anonymous. And it's about 10 minutes. Yeah, physical books are best. All right, now that we have everyone back from the break, we're gonna go ahead and start the rake. There are some pictures in here too, so I might share the screen here. Okay. All right, ready?
Yeah. The pictures are in the actual. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. As the sun begins to set and the trees huddle together in small dark groups as if shielding themselves against the coming of night, you step quietly and quickly through the carpet of fallen leaves and stray twigs, recognizing and noting as you do every rustle. Every snap of a branch created by your own footfalls. You note them as you can distinguish them from the other sounds, the soft rustling of leaves, the crack of bracken somewhere behind you. You increase your speed knowing that night is not the only thing drawing closer. The sound increases as you pace and heartbeats quicken. You turn and in the fading light catch a single glimpse of the hunched crawling thing that is pursuing you. Creeping forward like an animal and yet looking so horribly human. You only caught a single glimpse, but then you start to run. One glimpse is enough.
mostly associated with the image of a bald, pale-skinned creature hunched at an angle with bright orb-like eyes staring into the camera. The rake has become a staple creepypasta monster, adopted by many authors as shorthand for a creature resembling the one depicted in the photos and placed in various settings. During the summer of 2003, events in the northeastern United States involving a strange human-like creature sparked brief local media interest before an apparent blackout was enacted. Little or no information was left intact, as most online and written accounts of the creature were mysteriously destroyed. Primarily focused in rural New York State, self-proclaimed witnesses told stories of their encounters with a creature of unknown origin. Emotions ranged from extremely traumatic levels of fright and discomfort to an almost childlike sense of playfulness and curiosity. While their published versions are no longer on record, the memories remain powerful. Several of the involved parties began looking for answers that year. In early 2006, the collaboration of accumulated nearly 2 dozen documents dating between the 12th century and present day, spanning 4 continents. In almost all cases, the stories were identical. I've been in contact with a member of the group and was able to get some excerpts from their upcoming book.
Okay. An unaliving note, 1964. As I prepare to take my life, I feel it necessary to
Sausage.
what?
Asajj.
I was like, sausage?
Yeah.
Assuage any guilt or pain I have introduced through this act. It is not the fault of anyone other than him. For once I awoke and felt his presence, and once I awoke and saw his form. Once again I awoke and heard his voice and looked into his eyes. I cannot sleep without fear of what I might next awake to experience. I cannot ever wake. Goodbye. Found in the same wooden box were 2 empty envelopes addressed to William and Rose, and 1 loose personal letter with no envelope. Dearest Linny, I have prayed for you. He spoke your name.
A journal entry, translated from Spanish, 1880. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I see his eyes when I close mine. They are hollow, black. They saw me and pierced me. His wet hand. I will not sleep. His voice.
A Mariner's Log, 1691. He came to me in my sleep from the foot of my bed. I felt a sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here again at the request of the rake. That is a creepy ass whatever the fuck that is.
It's the rake.
I don't like it.
From
I'm
a
not
witness,
fan.
2006. 3 years ago, I had just returned from a trip from Niagara Falls with my family for the 4th of July. We were all very exhausted after a long day of driving, so my husband and I put the kids right to bed and called it a night. At about 4 a.m., I woke up thinking my husband had gotten up to use the restroom. I used the moment to steal back the sheets, only to wake him in the process. I apologized and told him I thought he had gone out of bed. When he turned to face me, he gasped and pulled his feet up from the end of the bed so quickly his knees almost knocked me out of the bed. He then grabbed me and said nothing. After adjusting to the dark for half a second, I was able to see what caused the strange reaction. At the foot of the bed, sitting and facing away from us, there was what appeared to be a naked man or a large hairless dog of some sort. Its body position was disturbing and unnatural, as if it had been hit by a car or something. For some reason, I was not instantly frightened by it, but more concerned as its condition. At this point, I was somewhat somewhat under the assumption that we were supposed to help him.
Something about like a naked man or a large hairless dog are like really different, and I feel like you would know the difference.
I would freak the fuck out, dude.
I mean, regardless of which one, but like you would know the difference.
You know the difference, and I'm not staying in the house.
I'm not either. My husband was peering over his arm and knee, tucked into the fetal position, occasionally glancing at me before returning to the creature. In a flurry of motion, the creature scrambled around the side of the bed and then crawled quickly in a flailing sort of motion right along the bed until I was less than a foot from my husband's face. The creature was completely silent for about 30 seconds, or probably closer to 5. It just seemed like a while. Just looking at my husband. The creature then placed its hand on its knee and ran into the hallway, leading to the kids' room. I screamed and ran for the light switch, planning to stop him before he hurt my children. When I got to the hallway, the light from the bedroom was enough to see it crouching and hunched over about 20 feet. He turned around and looked directly at us, covered in blood. I flipped the switch on the hallway and saw my daughter, Clara. The creature ran down the stairs while my husband and I rushed to help our daughter. She was very badly injured and spoke only once more in her short life. She said, "He is the rake."
Hey, yo.
What the fuck?
Oh
Okay.
no. My husband drove his car into the lake that night while rushing our daughters to the hospital. He did not survive. Being a small town, news got around pretty quickly. The police were helpful at first, and the local newspaper took a lot of interest as well. However, the story was never published, and the local television news never followed up either. Several months, my son Justin and I stayed in a hotel near my parents' house. After we decided to return home, I began looking for answers myself. I eventually located a man in the next town over and had a similar story. We got into contact and began talking about our experiences. He knew of 2 other people in New York who had seen the creature creature we now referred to as the rake.
Wait, real quick. Did the daughter survive?
No.
I'm only asking because the husband drove his car into the lake that night while rushing the daughter to the hospital. He did not survive. But then it said her and her son stayed in a hotel, but not the daughter.
I don't think the daughter survived.
Okay. It took the 4 of us 2 solid years of hunting on the internet and writing letters to come up with a small collection of what we believe to be accounts of the rake. None of them gave any details, history, or follow-up. One journal had an entry involving the creature in its first 3 pages and never mentioned it again. A ship's log explained nothing of the encounter, saying only that they were told to leave by the rake. That was the last entry in the log. There were, however, many instances where the creature's visits was one of a series of visits with the same person. Multiple people have mentioned being spoken to, my daughter included. This led us to wonder if the rake had visited any of us before our last encounter. Maybe she did survive.
I don't know.
Okay. You want to read or you want?
Yeah. I set up a digital recorder near my bed. I left it running all night, every night, for 2 weeks. I would tediously scan through the sounds of me rolling around in my bed each day when I woke up. By the end of the 2nd week, I was quite used to the occasional sound of sleep while blurring through the recording at 8 times the normal speed. This still took almost an hour every day. On the first day of the 3rd week, I thought I heard something different, and I found was a shrill voice. It was the rake. I can't listen to it long enough to even begin to transcribe it. I haven't let anyone listen to it yet. All I know is that I've heard it before, and I now believe that it spoke when it was sitting in front of my husband. I don't remember hearing anything at the time, but for some reason, the voice on the recorder immediately brings me back to that moment.
The thoughts that must have gone through my daughter's head make me very upset. I have not seen the rake since he ruined my life, but I know that he has been in my room while I slept. I know and fear that one night I'll wake up and see him staring at me.
Oh my God. No, thank you.
I don't like it.
No, sir. Okay. So, hold on. Camera's being weird. Okay, more classic creepypasta stories can be found here. Bedtimes. So this is more Greg stories. It's saying that there's more creepypasta stories about the rake found here. Bedtime, psychosis, and Rugrats theory. So it's all like kind of connected. All those stories.
Rugrats.
We should read those.
Like the cartoon Rugrats.
Yeah, but I don't think it's about the cartoon Rugrats.
Okay.
The rake is the name given to a strange pale-skinned creature that stalks its victims on all fours that has the appearance that somewhat resembles a mutated dog. The famed and talented creature is commonly said to live in the woods or forested areas. However, the spread of the character and the resulting lack of common rules around its habitat and behaviors means that it now has a far wider presence, moving away from the woods and forests to be found in more urban areas, and even repeating the common creepypasta trope of appearing at the end of people's bed or in their rooms at night. The common consensus on the creature's appearance shows it to have large, bulbous eyes that are reflective when caught in the light of a camera, and dropping jaw with a large fang-filled mouth, and often enter a nose that is missing entirely, Voldemort, or which is simply an open socket. Similar to what a skull looks like, the creature is usually shown naked and crawling toward the viewer on all fours, suggesting that though it is bipedal, it prefers to stalk victims in a manner similar to a four-legged animal. The matter of the rake's appearance is an interesting one that is linked directly to the myths, origins, and development and to an development to an image that had even the mainstream media duped.
Okay. Origins and images. In an origin story similar to that of the Slender Man, the mythic creature known as the Rake originally evolved out of a 2005 thread of a 4chan where an anonymous poster on the board B board?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know, 4chan thing.
Okay. Board suggested the contributors try to collaboratively come up with ideas for a new monster. After some initial back and forth discussion, one particular idea was chosen as the most promising candidate and began to be formed, added to, and manipulated by several users. The descriptions of this creature, which went through numerous adumbrations, before finally settling, shared some characteristics with the most commonly accepted rake image, which is widespread today. However, there were also some glaring differences. For example, the original suggestions called for 3 eyes, whilst the most common version of the rake was only 2, and for the creature to lack other facial features, having, for example, a missing nose or mouth.
The first story to feature the rake appeared on Brian Somerville's personal blog on July 20th, 2006. Somerville, who was a regular user of the Something Awful site, provided a backstory of the rake, and with the story cemented some of the more commonly accepted features of the creature's appearance. The story indicates that the sightings of the rake-like creatures date back as far as the 12th century. The first records of the creature are from the 17th century, and that the creature can be linked to unexplained phenomenon and sightings of cryptids like beings in the northeastern United States. By late 2008, the rake stories appeared on LiveJournal. The story and variants featuring the rake appeared on Something Awful and 4chan by the following year, and the first appeared on the paranormal subreddit in 2010. It later found its way onto Creepypasta forums and began to increase in popularity.
The common misconception is that the appearance of the rake is based off a widely shared image of a creature with glowing eyes staring into the camera of a deer hunter that is sometimes referred to as the Berwick Monster. This image, which is now one of the most closely associated with the rake mythology and the common starting point from which rake fan art and variants are derived, was actually taken seriously by mainstream media outlets when it first appeared. The still image, allegedly to have been extracted from the memory card of now a broken night vision camera, was posted to the Wild Game Innovation site by someone claiming to have actually encountered the creature. The image and story of the strange encounter was then picked up by media outlets as widespread as Britain's The Daily Mail and NBC, which featured the images and a brief report of the alleged sighting on this morning show.
For real?
However, I was about to ask that. I don't know.
For real?
Did you see the rake in the cryptid book that I got?
I haven't gotten that far, so I'll keep an eye out.
Look in the, because you know how it's like based off of like
Yeah.
different sections in the U.S. Look in
Yeah.
the Northeast. I'm like
It
kind of
is.
curious. I've never heard of the rake, so
Yeah. However, rather than this image influencing the initial ideas of the rake's appearance, the timeline seems to indicate that the rake stories were retrospectively linked to this image, since discussions about the creature's appearance, Somerville's original story, on the first postings to major creepypasta and paranormal sites predate the image's creation and experience in news media. The association of the image with the character can most likely be attributed to the fact that the image itself appeared in the same month as a single topic blog Tumblr account, hoping to gather together all the fan art, copypasta, and sighting reports into one place. With the fans of the rake story are those encountering it for the first time, inflating the image, and with the story is an association that would continue to the present. Oh my goodness.
incidentally.
Despite some sites claiming that the Berwick monster photographs has never been authenticated or debunked, the image, which went viral and was spread on various platforms with posters alleging it to be real, was in fact meant to be a depiction of a grim from the game Resident 3. It was released by the company responsible for the game, and as such has been revealed to be a hoax.
So was it a hoax?
Yeah, yeah.
Other influences. Whilst the rake clearly developed from a collaborative effort online, upon examining the creature's most generally accepted image, there are a number of precursory influences to consider. The creature's pale skin, lack of a nose, and gaping mouth are reminiscent of the Flukeman monster central to the season 2 of X-Files episode The Host, in which a white-skinned creature with yellowish eyes, a gaping mouth, and a bald head is featured. Visions of the creature that are heavily influenced by the Berwick monster image are also commonly linked to the 2006 Fallen Angel of Catalonia footage, which, though also revealed to be a hoax, bears some striking resemblance to the later Berwick monster photograph, leading some to believe there may have been a direct influence upon the developers of Resistance 3 Grim image. Later fan art depictions of the rake have altered the character's appearance somewhat, exaggerating certain features and placing greater emphasis on the creature's fangs, bald head, and elongated fingers into an image strikingly similar to the character Lizzie, created by special effects artist Tom Savini from the Tales of the Dark Side episode In the Closet.
And that is the background of the rake. I was thinking it was going to be a story, but apparently this is its background, and the stories are the ones that are like psychosis, and the rake just influenced a bunch of different stories. We should look into those at some point.
I know.
All right.
Huh. I've never heard of the rake, but cool.
Sweet. What we got next here? Oh, okay. This is a content warning. I'm warning now. Content warning. This next story coming up is very graphic, and it could trigger some people's like PTSD. It's called Normal Porn for Normal People, and It is very graphic and it's very, very creepy. It's a really good story, but it is very, very, very graphic. So if you're not into that or you're squeamish, come back in like 10 minutes, I think. When's this? How long is the story? It says about 12, yeah, 12, 15 minutes read. They have toned down it a little bit because of some of the animal abuse that got removed from it. So,
What the fuck?
yeah, it's a crazy ass story. Let me go to the bathroom really quick and then we can get started.
Okay. So I'm just gonna sit here and I guess talk. I don't really know what to do here. I should probably leave too. Sorry guys. So how is everybody liking the stories? I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous to read this next one. I like how he gave you guys a trigger warning, but he didn't give me a trigger warning as far as what we were about to read, so that's cool. Thanks, Michael. Okay, so you're from the Northeast and you've never heard of the rake? Ooh, we're in the Northeast. Also, I've never heard of the rake either. Pennsylvania. Okay. I'm really curious. I need you to look in your book to see if
you've never heard of the rake in your almost what, you're 39? Something like that? That's crazy. Like you were
you even from the Northeast?
You were in like you're old enough to like experience the rise of creepypasta stories. Like that was like your time. That's crazy. Don't out me.
Yeah, that felt a little targeted. I'm like also in my 30s, so
it's crazy. Like 4chan was when it first kind of took off, and then 4chan became really racist, and then it kind of moved over to Reddit and Tumblr and better sites. All right. I also heard everything she said while I was gone because I had my headphones on, but we're gonna go ahead and start here. Whenever you're ready.
Can you give me just a second? Like 2 minutes.
She said, don't out me. Oh, you know what? I fucked up here. I just realized that I should have put the category for this on Twitch into podcast instead of just chatting. No wonder why everyone's in their hot tubs right now, doing their hot tub screams.
I don't know what Twitch is.
Streaming service.
I mean, I know that much, but
you bring me a toy? Thank you. All right. I mean, Slenderman was big. The Creepypasta, Zelda, those are all the ones I remember, like the OG. Yeah, I think like one of the first ones. Oh fuck! I think one of the first Creepypastas is Slenderman. I think that was the very first. All right.
I think Shadow wanted to make an appearance. Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep, go ahead.
Everybody knows that if you surf the web long enough, you'll see some pretty sick shit. This is especially true if you intentionally dive into the dark underbelly of the internet. I've seen quite a few things I don't care to admit to, but one thing I'll always remember is a site called normalcornfornormalpeople.com. Right?
Normal corn. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The first strange thing about the site was that I didn't find it by actually looking for it. It was emailed to me by someone I didn't know. The email was as follows.
I'm going to read the emails.
Okay.
I'm going to turn down the music too. It's a little bit loud. Hi there. Found this site in a very... hi there. Found this site is very nice. Thought you meant... What? What the fuck? Found this site is very nice. Thought you might like. Normalcornfornormalpeople.com. Pass it on for the good of mankind.
Pretty standard issue chain letter, although the URL and the last remark really piqued my curiosity. I was having a very boring day when I got this, so I made sure my antivirus was working and then clicked on it. It was very average, very generic looking site. It gave the impression that the creators just barely gave a shit about making it look professional. The author seemed to have a very tenuous grasp on English, and on the front page was a long, boring, incoherent rant that I don't remember or have saved. The site had a strange tagline, which even today people haven't figured out the meaning of, which was
Normal Corn for Normal People, a website dedicated to the introduction of abnormal sexuality.
And from the sound of that, I wasn't sure whether I was here to watch corn. Am I allowed to say the word?
You can say it.
And from the sound of that, I wasn't sure whether I was here to watch porn or if I'd stumbled onto some kind of eugenics program. But I was here now, and I was very, very curious to see what normal people got their rocks off to. So I scrolled down through the rant, and nothing. The page didn't seem to link to anything else, and I was about to leave when I noticed that every word of the rant was its own hyperlink. I clicked one of them and was sent to a white page with a very long list of links in the form of
Corn for normalpeople.com. Random letters. So, first off, if someone sends me a fucking email that is like, hey, you should check this porn site out, no, it's phishing. Delete.
And also,
What?
not just like an email, but somebody you don't know.
Right. And also, I get it. Back when this was written was when like emails was like kind of new, so people were like, oh, whatever, you know. So, ugh.
I don't know. I wouldn't, but okay.
So I stopped for a minute and asked myself if I really wanted to waste God knows how much time clicking random links that would likely give me a virus that would grape my computer. I figured I'd try it out maybe 5 minutes just to see if anything came up. I clicked on one of the links and was sent to another page. This page operated in totally different URLs than the last one. I was about to say, fuck this, when I clicked on the third link and the video download came up. It was called peanut.avi, a 30-minute video of a man, a woman, and a dog in a kitchen. The woman made a peanut butter sandwich, and the man sat down on the dog to eat. Oh, sorry. And the man set it down for the dog to eat. This was all that happened for 30 minutes. It was obvious that the cameraman had to stop filming and wait until the dog was ready to eat again, and the dog seemed rather sick by the end of it.
I know what you're thinking. What the hell does this have to do with porn? I have no clue. I've seen a little over 2 dozen videos from this site, and the majority had no sexual activity at all. After watching peanut.avi, I went on a certain image board I frequent to play online show and tell, like I always do with weird shit like this. But someone had already made a thread about it, a guide who'd received the same chain letter I did. The image board thread had lots of people with nothing better to do, dig through the site, and that's how I saw the other videos. Most of those 2 dozen videos were very uneventful and consisted of people talking to the cameraman in a room with nothing in it but desk and a few chairs. I mean, literally nothing on the walls or in terms of furniture. The whole room had a very cold, sterile feel to it. The conversations were idle banter about previous jobs or embarrassing childhood moments. I kept expecting some kind of a discussion about what the people were filming or what the site was about, but of course nothing. You would never know these videos had anything to do with porn if you saw it out of context. I will say one thing though, the people who appeared in these videos were quite attractive. However, the other videos that actually did feature content I suppose could be called sexual is where things got weird. I'll give a brief description of the strangers' videos. If you're really eaten up with curiosity, you can try to hunt them down on a torrent site.
Okay. First one, lickedclean.avi. A 10-minute video filmed by a hidden camera in which we see a repairman working on a washing machine. For the first 2 minutes, when it's fixed, the repairman talks to the owner briefly and then leaves. The owner checks to make sure the repairman is gone, then begins to lick all over the top of the washing machine. This goes on for several minutes. 7 minutes.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to zoom in because I can't see. Jumbo.avi, a 5-minute video of an obese mime performing his act. It was actually pretty funny, particularly one part where he pretends to pull up a chair, then pretends that it breaks because of his weight. In that last 30 seconds of the video, the camera cuts to a static briefly and cuts back to the man sobbing quietly, still wearing a mime outfit and makeup. Some kind of obscure fetish? Question mark. So it's staticked out, and then it comes back to him just crying in the corner. Diana AVI. 4-minute video in which the cameraman talks to a woman in a room different from the interview room. This room looks like one you'd find in a normal person's house. Exactly where they are in never specified. As Diana only talks about her violin playing, she obviously plays her violin, but keeps getting distracted by something. I didn't notice this until someone on the image board thread pointed it out, but if you look at the mirror in the background, you can see a fat man in a chicken mask masturbating.
What the fuck?
Okay, read the next ones.
Jessica.avi. Another 4-minute cameraman video. This video, he's outside a house talking to another young woman. They talk about canoe rides. The camera zooms out to reveal the city behind them occasionally. The strange thing is that no one so far has been able to identify where the street is. Guesses have ranged anywhere from Europe to Australia to the Philippines, but there's yet to be a match for the street shown in the video. Tonguetie.avi. 10-minute video. The first 5 minutes consists of an elderly woman making out with a mannequin. The video cuts out like it did in Jimbo.avi halfway through, and the scene is then a group of mannequins huddled together in a circle around the camera. The lights have been dimmed and the elderly woman is nowhere to be seen. From this point on, there is no sound.
Creepy.
Stumps.avi.com. I just don't understand. Okay.
So like the camera's just like a bunch of mannequins looking down at it. Crazy.
I don't like this. 5-minute video. 5-minute video long where a man with no legs is attempting to break dance on a DDR mat in what looks like the kitchen from Peanut.avi, but much dirtier. There's a radio playing music unseen in the background, but it stops at the 4-minute mark where the man collapses on the mat in exhaustion. He breathes heavily and pleads for someone off-screen to let him rest. This off-screen person becomes terrifyingly enraged and yells at him to keep dancing, which he does. You can hear the off-screen person begin to scream as the video ends abruptly. I have thoughts.
Go ahead.
I don't think this is a corn site. I think this is, oh God, what is it called? Oh, it'll come back to me. I don't like it.
I know what you're talking about. Okay. Privacy.avi. The woman from Diana Abbey is masturbating on a mattress in the interview room where the man from Stumps Abbey walks around on his hands, wearing some kind of goblin mask. The door in this room was always closed in other videos, but it's now open. In this video, the only light in the room and the hallway is dark. Near the end of the video, you can see an animal quickly run through the hallway. And finally, the last video we've uncovered. In this 18-minute video, a blonde woman from one of the previous interview videos is tied down to a mattress in the interview room. She attempts to scream, but her mouth is taped over. After 7 minutes, a man in a black suit and mask opens the door and does not enter. He holds the door open from the animal that has... He holds the door open for the animal that was running in the hall in the previous video. It's revealed to be an adult chimpanzee, its hair shaved and its entire body painted red. When the chimp enters the room, the masked man closes the door behind it. The chimpanzee sniffs the air for a moment. It may have been blind and notices the woman tied to the mattress. It goes into a frenzy and begins to maul her. The assault goes on for grueling 7 minutes until the woman finally dies. The chimp eats the flesh from her corpse for 4 minutes as the video ends.
Oh my god, what is the name of those videos called?
Like the Poughkeepsie tapes?
No.
Like almost
it.
like people being like trafficked and then forced to do like crazy shit.
Yeah, or killed on video and people buy them. I can't remember what their name.
Oh, I know
what they're called.
I know what you're talking about.
Ugh. The thread exploded with activity after this video was uncovered, and people discussed it long into the night. When I came back to the image board the next day, I found that it had been deleted. I tried to start another one, and they banned me.
Oh, you can't.
I tried emailing.
Send it to me in Discord.
And then tell me. You can text it to me.
Yeah.
I tried emailing the guy who sent me the chain letter with the site's URL. I sent him bless you.
Sorry.
I sent him 5 messages and never got a response. I have tried to discuss this website on various places and have been banned frequently. The site itself was also deleted about 3 days after useless.abbey was uncovered, likely because someone contacted the authorities about it.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought too. I thought it was the same thing, but I wasn't quite sure. That's why I didn't say it. Snuff films.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. I tried emailing the guy who sent me the... Nope, I already read that. The only proof that normalcornfornormalpeople.com ever existed was a few screen caps people took and videos from the site that people saved and uploaded on torrents. The most popular of which was useless.abbey, which found its way onto a few gore sites. Whenever you upload to them, all the videos from normalcornfornormalpeople.com get deleted after a while. I did not like this story.
So I thought in this, I could have sworn I remember that, I'm not sure if it's out or not, but I thought there was one of the videos was like someone getting like, cut into pieces, but that might be a different story. So what'd you think?
I didn't like it.
They said this is like a story version of facesofdeath.com.
I'm not a fan.
It is it's pretty creepy. It's that's why it's like a really good story that makes you uncomfortable.
Well, I feel like it actually could exist or does exist.
Yeah, it's probably.
And I don't like that.
Yeah, it probably does exist, and then I like that it could be like almost like a horror movie, really.
Yeah, like I don't know, human centipede type horror movie.
Yeah, we do have a quick break to give you guys a little bit of a breather from that one. Some break prompts here. VHS tape movies like the Poughkeepsie tapes and stuff like that. I think it'd be pretty cool. Movie too, something like that. Okay. Here's the break prompts. That one was messed up. but horror
Did
scene.
not like it.
But horror scene scared you the most without chewing gum. What horror scene from that story scared you the most?
What kind of scared? There's like different.
No,
kinds of
from that
scares.
story.
Well, I obviously didn't like the last one. I don't want to see a woman being mauled to death by a chimpanzee.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all creepy. I don't know. Like a woman making out with the mannequin and then all of a sudden she disappears.
The violin one
That's
was
creepy.
was wild.
The violin was wild. You don't want to be in that position.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of like all of them are kind of creepy.
The man breakdancing with no legs and then being told he has to keep breakdancing? Are you fucking kidding me? I don't like it. I don't like any of it.
Oh yeah, stumping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like the girl in the room, like on the couch, at the same time, because he was walking around while she was doing what she was doing, and then chimpanzee runs across the hallway.
Yeah.
That one had a lot going on. Do you think that creepypastas is our version of modern folklore?
Yeah.
Because it's like how they like, because some of the things like they get written like kind of like blend into top of that stuff like that.
And there's a lot of like stories with like real creatures. Like I don't know about the rake, but like other creatures, you know?
Right.
That is like stories in our time.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Final story. This one is another 15 to 20 minute one. This one is called The Russian Sleep Experiment. I heard this one's pretty scary. I think that last one was like probably the most unsettling one that we're going to read today, unless this one tops it. But
Not.
what happens when humans push past the limits of sleep? Sometimes they stop being human altogether. It's the little teaser. Okay. Creepypasta. The Russian Sleep Experiment. I will start this one off for ya. Wildly regarded as one of the most popular and wildest spread creep. Oh wait, hold on. This is just telling us about it. I don't think this is the right one. Oh wait, okay. It's in here. It's just let's just read the story one. We're not gonna read all the stuff that's the background of it. So if you scroll down, it's just the Russian experiment creepypasta story. We're not gonna read the other stuff.
The beginning.
Like, the rake had like, you know how the rake had its story in between and it had all like the stuff about it. We're not gonna do that this time. We're just gonna read the story. All right, the Russian sleep experiment. Russian researchers in the late 1940s kept 5 people awake for 15 days using an experimental gas-based stimulant. They were kept in a sealed environment to carefully monitor their oxygen intake so the gas didn't kill them. Since it was so toxic in high concentrations, this was before closed-circuit cameras, so they had only microphones and 5-inch thick glass porthole-sized windows into the chamber to monitor them. The chamber was stocked with books, cots to sleep on, but no bedding, running water and toilet, and enough dried food to last all 5 for over a month. The test subjects were political prisoners deemed enemies of the state during World War II.
What? I'm so sorry. Hold on.
I'll keep going. Everything was fine for the first 5 days. The subjects hardly complained, having been promised falsely that they would be freed if they submitted to the test and did not sleep for 30 days. Their conversations and activities were monitored, and it was noted that they continued to talk about increasingly traumatic incidents in their past. and the general tone of their conversations took on a darker aspect after the day 4 mark.
That reminds me of Dr. Death, I think was his nickname during World War II. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Uh, During like the Holocaust and the Nazi occupation, in the doctor that did all the crazy experiments on people.
I think I've heard of him. I don't think I've heard the stories though.
They're wild.
Well, yeah, the Nazis did a lot of experiments on the Jews when they were in
It was like the
concentration camps.
it was like the main doctor that did like
Yeah.
the main After 5 days, they started to complain about the circumstances and events that led them to where they were and started to demonstrate severe paranoia. They stopped talking to each other and began alternatively whispering to the microphones and one-way mirrored portholes. Oddly, they all seemed to think that they could win the trust of the experimenters by turning over their comrades, the other subjects in captivity with them. At first, the researchers suspected this was an effect of the gas itself. After 9 days, the first of them started screaming. He ran the length of the chamber, repeatedly yelling at the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight. He continued attempting to scream, but was only able to produce occasional squeaks. The researchers postulated that he had physically torn his vocal cords. The most surprising thing about this behavior is how the other captives reacted to it, or rather didn't react to it. They continued whispering to the microphones until the second of the captives started to scream. The two non-screaming captives took the books apart, smeared page after page with their own feces, and pasted them calmly over the glass portholes. The screaming promptly stopped. So did the whispering in the microphones.
After 3 more days passed, the researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they were working, since they thought it impossible that no sound could be coming with 5 people inside. The oxygen consumption in the chamber indicated that all 5 must still be alive. In fact, it was the amount of oxygen 5 people would consume at a very heavy level of strenuous exercise. On the morning of the 14th day, researchers did something they said they would not do to get a reaction from the captives. They used the intercom instead inside the chamber, hoping to provoke any response from the captives. They were afraid were either dead or vegetables. They announced, "We are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Stay away from the door and lie flat on the floor, or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of you your immediate freedom."
To their surprise, they heard a single phrase in a calm voice response.
"We no longer want to be freed."
Debate broke out among the researchers and the military forces funding the research. Unable to provoke any more response using the intercom, it was finally decided to open the chambers at midnight on the 15th day. The chamber was flushed of the stimulant gas and filled with fresh air, and immediately voices from the microphones began to object. 3 different voices began begging, as if pleading for the life of loved ones, to turn the gas back on. The chamber was open, and soldiers sent in to receive the test subjects. They began to scream louder than ever, and so did the soldiers when they saw what was inside. 4 of the 5 subjects were still alive, although no one could rightly call the state that any of them were. No.
Called the state that any of them were in life.
Life. 4 of the 5 subjects were still alive, although no one could rightly call the state that any of them were in life.
The food rations past 5 days had not been so much as touched. They were chunks of meat from the dead test subjects' thighs and chests stuffed into the drain in the center of the chamber, blocking the drain and allowing 4 inches of water to accumulate on the floor. Precisely how much of the water on the floor was actually blood was never determined. All 4 surviving test subjects also had large portions of muscle and skin torn away from their bodies. The destruction of their flesh and exposed bone on their fingertips indicated that the wounds were inflicted by hand, not with teeth, as the researchers initially thought. Closer examining of the position of angles of the wounds indicated that not all of them were self-inflicted. The abdominal organs below the ribcage of the 4 test subjects had been removed. while the heart, lungs, and diaphragm remained in place, the skin and most of the muscles attached to the ribs had been ripped off. Exposing the lungs through the rib cage, all of the blood vessels and organs remained intact. They had just been taken out. They had just been taken out and laid on the floor, fanning out around the ever secreted but still living bodies of the subjects. The digestive tracts of all four could have been seen to be working. Digestive. What the fuck? The digestive tract of all four could be seen to be working, digesting food. It quickly became apparent that they were digesting was their own flesh that they had ripped off their eaten. Oh my god. They were digesting their own flesh that had been ripped off and eaten over the course of days.
Alright. Most of the soldiers were Russian special operatives at the facility, but still many refused to return to the chamber to remove the test subjects. They continued to scream to be left in the chamber and alternatively begged and demanded the gas to be turned back on, lest they fell asleep. To everyone's surprise, the test subjects put up a fierce fight in the process of being removed from the chamber. One of the Russian soldiers died from having his throat ripped out. Another was gravely injured by having his testicles ripped off and an artery in his leg severed by one of the subject's teeth. Another 5 of the soldiers lost their lives if you count the ones that committed unaliving in the weeks following the incident. In the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen ruptured and he bled out almost immediately. The medical researchers attempted to sedate him, but this proved impossible. He was injected with more than 10 times the human dose of a morphine derivative and still fought like a cornered animal, breaking the ribs and arms of one doctor. When heart was seen to beat for a full 2 minutes after he had bled out to the point that there was more air in his vascular system than blood. Even after it stopped, he continued to scream and flail for another 3 minutes, struggling the attack anyone in reach, and just repeated the word more over and over, weaker and weaker, until he finally fell silent. The surviving 3 test subjects were heavily restrained and moved to a medical facility, the 2 with intact vocal cords continuously begging for the gas, demanding to be kept alive.
The most injured of the 3 was taken to the only surgical operating room that the facility had. In the process of preparing the subject to have his organs placed back within his body, it was found that he was effectively immune to the sedative they had given him to prepare him for the surgery. He fought furiously against the restraints. When the anesthetic gas was brought out to put him under, he managed to tear almost all the way through a 4-inch wide leather strap on one wrist. Even though the weight of a 200-pound soldier was holding that wrist, he was as well. It took only a little more anesthetic than normal to put him under. And the instant his eyelids fluttered and closed, his heart stopped. In the autopsy of the test subject that had died on the operating table, it was found that his blood had tripled the normal level of oxygen. His muscles that were still attached to his skeleton were badly torn, and he had broken 9 bones in his struggling to not be subdued. Most of them were from the force of his own muscles had exerted of them. Jesus.
The second survivor had been the first of the group of 5 to start screaming. His vocal cords destroyed, he was unable to beg or object to surgery, and he only reacted by shaking his head violently in disapproval when the anesthetic gas was brought near him. He shook his head yes when someone suggested reluctantly they tried the surgery without anesthetic, and he did not react for the entire 6-hour procedure of replacing his abdominal organs and attempting to cover them with what remains of his skin. The surgeon presiding stated repeatedly that it should be medically possible for the patient to still be alive. I feel like that should be medically impossible.
Yeah, I think that's what it's supposed to mean.
One terrified nurse assisted the surgery stated that she had seen the patient's mouth curl into a smile several times whenever his eyes met hers. Creepy. When the surgery ended, the subject looked at the surgeon and began to wheeze loudly, attempting to talk while struggling. Assuming this must be something of drastic importance, the surgeon had a pen and a pad fetched so the patient could write his message. It was simple: keep cutting.
Jesus. The
Oh
other
my
two test
god.
subjects were given the same surgery, both without anesthetic as well, although they had to be injected with a paralytic for the duration of the operation. The surgeon found it impossible to perform the operation while the patients laughed constantly. Once paralyzed, the subjects could only follow the attempting researchers with their eyes. The paraplegic cleared their system in an abnormally short period of time, and they were soon trying to escape their bonds. The moment they could speak, they were again asking for the stimulant gas. The researchers tried asking why they had injured themselves, why they had ripped out their own guts, and why they wanted to be given the gas again. Only one response was given: I must remain awake.
All three subjects' restraints were reinforced and they were placed back into the chamber, awaiting determination as to what should be done with them. The researchers, facing the wrath of their military benefactors for having failed the stated goals of their project, considered euthanizing the surviving subjects. The commanding officer, a former KGB agent, instead saw potential and wanted to see what would happen if they were put back on gas. The researchers strongly objected but were overruled. In preparation for being sealed in the chamber again, the subjects were connected to an EEG monitor and had their restraints padded for long term confinement. To everyone's surprise, all three stopped struggling the moment it was let slip that they were going back on the gas. It was obvious that at this point, all three were putting up a great struggle to stay awake. One of the subjects could speak was humming loudly and continuously. The mute subject was straining his legs against the leather bounds with all his might, first left, then right, then left again for something to focus on. The remaining subject was holding his head off his pillow and blinking rapidly. Having been the first to be wired for EEG, most of the researchers were monitoring his brain waves in surprise. They were normal most of the time, but sometimes flatlined inexplicably. It looked as if he were repeatedly suffering from brain death before returning to normal. As they forced on paper scrolling out of the brainwave monitor, only one nurse saw his eyes slip shut at the same moment his head hit the pillow. His brainwaves immediately changed to that of a deep sleep, then flatlined for the last time as his heart simultaneously stopped. I hate this story. I hate this story so much. This is giving me so much anxiety.
The only
Sorry.
remaining subject that could speak started screaming to be sealed in now. His brainwaves showed the same flat lines as one who had just died from falling asleep. The commander gave the order to seal the chamber with both subjects inside, as well as 3 researchers. One of the named 3 immediately drew his gun and shot the commander point blank between the eyes, then turned the gun on the mute subject and blew his brains out as well. He pointed his gun at the remaining subject, still restrained to a bed, as the remaining members of the medical and research team fled the room. I won't be locked in here with these things. Not with you, he screamed, and the man strapped to the table. What are you? He demanded. I must know. The subject smiled. Have you forgotten so easily? The subject asked. We are you. We are the madness that lurks within all of you, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralyze when you go to the nocturnal heaven where we cannot thread. The researcher paused, then aimed at the subject's head and fired. The EEG flatlined as the subject weakly choked out, so nearly free.
And then there's a picture.
Yeah, there's a picture, and that is the end of the story. Here is the picture of the guys. But yeah, what do y'all think? What do you think about that one?
I hated it.
It's one of like the creepiest ones. It's not. It almost leaves you with more questions than answers, honestly.
Well, I think it's creepy because it just reminds me of like Dr. Death.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this could be very well an actual story.
Right. Well, here's our wind down here. Which story tonight wins the scariest of the stream award?
I think this last one that we read, the sleep experiment, because it's too close to something that could happen in real life.
I don't know. It's super gory. It makes me more sick than scared.
Yeah, for sure, but like, you don't think it could happen? I'm gonna send you stories of Dr. Death.
I think that the scariest is normal corn for normal people.
Yeah, because that could also happen.
Yeah. I think that was. I think that would be win the cake. What was the worst story? Which one did you not like?
The last one made me queasy.
Yeah, but like, which one was like not a good story though? Like, or like was a good story but not like as good as the others?
The strangers. And I think the story in general was good. I just hate how
You shouldn't mess with New
I just hate
Yorkers.
it. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
like that.
that was cringy.
What about you?
Yeah, I would say that one too, probably. Should this is for like the chat. I know like a lot of people are dipping out because the stream is over, but should we do more short creepy ones next time or dive into a longer one? I guess this is for you too.
Short.
I think we should. I think we can't do. Can't we do a short one every time? I think they eventually
Yeah,
do a
that's
long one
true.
again.
know.
We might. Oh, we'll see. We might do a long one. They should have never messed with a New Yorker. Yeah, here we go. Show that one. Hilarious. So funny. They should never mess with a New Yorker. I gagged on that. If you have a favorite creepypasta and didn't, oh yeah, if anyone has a favorite creepypasta that we didn't read tonight, we will read it. So we will take suggestions.
Yeah.
If we do a long one, pepper in like we're definitely gonna pepper in some sentence horror story, like one sentence horror, two sentence horror, and like just breaks in general because we don't want to like we don't want to burn out mid story.
Oh, send the stories in Discord for suggested stories. Was it that?
Yeah. If you go in the
Yeah.
Discord, you can anyone can suggest us stories as well. We've had a couple of those. But yeah, I think it was a pretty good stream. A lot of the first couple ones are kind of forgettable. I don't really remember them. Like, I mean, I remember the portraits.
What do you mean? Somebody, what's his name?
No, like when we read white with red. I don't remember that one. What was that one about?
That's the one that Tripper Zero wants closure on. What was she?
Oh no, that's the inspection list.
Oh wait, that was a different one.
What was white?
You're right.
What was the white one again?
It was like a hospital and like no, it was a hotel and there was a room with no
right.
number.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think he died, but that's
Yeah, I
just
think
me.
so too. It's a short one. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys like the stories. We'll keep doing this. I like the live better because I like interacting with you guys like this, and then me reacting 12 hours on a comment. So this is way better for me. Andrea is getting used to it. She's gonna take a couple. It's gonna take a couple of time for her. I forced her to do this. So.
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Like, subscribe, and follow, because now we're on Twitch as well, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.